Oh, thank you. I'm saying y'all started copyright.
Hey, you! Maybe I shouldn't have gave you that.
Y'all talking copyright friends, man. You feel me? We just did my shit.
Machiavelli Munch
It's all good.
is tardy for the party.
No, you good.
Okay. Let me get this note. These notes. Okay, also, my cousin, his uncle,
Up on us. Say something to the mic one time for me, everybody.
Mic check, mic check. Hello, hello. Hello, hello.
Yo.
Instagram. Let me do the gram right quick. Let them know.
Yeah.
You ain't like my voice?
No, I'm struggling.
I heard it.
Like,
Check the connection. Come on.
Oh, we definitely live with it, though.
oh, I'm still in the camera.
Yeah, I got us in like a nice camera angle. Now, you know what? How are we able to see the chat though?
I need to check it out. Because I'm ready to talk to folks.
Get it on the muscle. Hello. We here. Let's go. Where you at? Come in. Oh, okay, cool. I thought you was lost. Thought you got kidnapped. Thought a Florida man got another Florida man. All right. Munch outside. Live with somebody there. Okay, it's set up. These people saw all my teeth.
Tell you what.
Welcome.
Y'all should have dropped some Tupac for that man. Come with me. One quick see. What do we have in mind?
Whatever you got for me, you know I'm about it, dog.
What do we have in mind?
What's up, dog?
What do we...
Hey,
What's good, man?
I get to sip on the dog, you know, lay back. See it, look around, so down, so
You know how to do it, hope they even get out. You know? Woo! I ain't even worried, but yo. So,
Oh, it's starting?
are we?
Are we?
Oh, Munch, you need that mic.
No, it's okay. You can have mine.
Okay.
what mic I need?
You getting spoiled today, child. Oh, I'm not drinking. This is lunch. This is strong.
What is drinking?
Don't kick this off.
I'm just gonna say this, man.
I'm mad you kicked my drink over. My orange juice.
I'm pro-black everything, so yeah.
Oh, we see you all blacked out.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You know, you know, out the base, the cool.
Yeah. Shout out. Go ahead.
Italian twine, chain jewels, bullets for life, black billboard. I don't know. What's good?
I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not ready to go live because I gotta let the people know on Facebook, on the Fuller Culture. Did y'all like the Fuller Culture page? Look, you need to find it.
It's on Facebook. I think I try to look for it on Facebook.
Like the page for the culture. I'm coming. All right.
Is it for the culture, like? Because you said lie, you know. Okay.
Yeah, lie.
I know lie.
Lie.
Spanish is duh. You know what I mean?
you
in
know.
Miami, you know, you gotta pick up on something.
Tell them they're not going
My bad, dog.
live now.
I'm a stickler for time, so I was like trying to get here, and I was just working on a video for Amendment 4. They just did
Good, this
second
made me
chat
work.
Saturday. Second chat Saturday yesterday. So we did a march yesterday from Arcola Park to Arcola Library. You know what I mean? And I was just finishing up the video.
How long was that? About 10 minutes?
Huh?
I wish I could lay this against
It
her
really
drink, but
wasn't
that
that long.
sounded like a tragedy.
It didn't happen. That's when she take that drink.
Let me just hold
That
my drink.
I just want to go live for the folks
I
on
have a little
Facebook.
stand right there. Look, ready. Waiting.
Can my phone go there?
Yeah.
I was saying
Let
I
me
want
do
to go
it.
to the, you know, I
That's
got
why I
the.
put the stand in there.
Matter of fact, check it out. No. I need it. Oh, I like it.
I got the
Look,
little
this girl
DJI
is handy.
Ooh, niggas is getting
That might be
creative.
doing good.
Eyeglass king. Oh, creative.
Yeah. See, that's why you need a chick with glasses. You know what?
What they say?
India, you don't wear glasses, huh? See,
I'm supposed to.
she not as handy.
I'm handy. I got you.
Alright, so yeah, I'm out here.
Trust me.
Like,
Anyway, I'm only going live on Follow Culture on Facebook just for a little bit, but y'all need to head over there to YouTube.
now,
You see,
salaries, though.
y'all
Now.
got, see we got Chantel with us, got our other special
Right.
guest with us.
You gotta flip it. You gotta flip it. Look at it, look.
We gotta stand it up.
Oh,
I'm
that's
just
really
making it
right. Yeah, so head over there now. Okay, gotta get serious.
Yeah,
Cause we're like 10 minutes in or something like that.
6.
Sheesh, Lord.
I'm on point. I'm on point.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now, welcome back to another episode of Full of Culture. Another week 5. Yes, the show for the culture, by the culture. I am the OG millennial general. Somebody told me I was that. Like, I didn't call myself that. Like, somebody said that. And, you know, that's who I am. My name is Fox Sarah, and my usual co-host, you know, they're so boring. What's your name?
No play.
I don't have a microphone. Can y'all hear me? Thank you. Hi, it's India checking in from Pretty Hustlers. I don't have a cooler name like they do, but just know I'm here. All right?
And we have special guests with us. They are our co-hosts, but they're so special to us. All right, you know why? Because over to my left, we have everyone's favorite postal woman on IG. Like, we don't even care what job you work there. Like, what?
They love me. I'm the number one Millie. I'm very others, but
Like,
my favorite.
who more popular than Chantel? Like, Chantel with a 5. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You want to say anything else?
I'm just gonna say shout out to all the Mill ladies. You know, we don't look like the Mill ladies before. We're more different. Got booties. You know, we sexy.
Oh. Oh, they coming for the nurses. They saying middle versus nurses.
Mill lady gang.
All right,
This
nurses.
nigga is bad.
Now, on my right, we also have a special guest. You know, not like my boring co-host. He's a special co-host.
Why you gotta be so shady, man? Like,
Too many.
you know, we supposed to be
Maybe
shit.
2 minutes.
It's
Too much
supposed to
to
be
want to
shit
do.
light, you know what I mean?
This man right here, hold on, let me
Yeah.
get the Trayvon Martin vibe going.
Yeah, Trayvon.
This
you know?
man right here is the man
No,
of the
Trayvon,
people. This man puts the community on his back. I'm so good. You know, all that.
Yeah.
Listen, this man here, what else? What,
We go way back.
we go way back,
Since
but
like Dion Fox used to.
yeah, you gotta respect me.
I gotta
for sure.
respect your name, you know, D, you know.
Oh, you were saying we were boring.
But yeah, Fox. Yeah, I know, right? Fox. You know. Yeah, she used to both niggas on the court. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I was thinking about that earlier, like, boy, every time, like, and I used to have to go to the coach, like, go to the ref, like, come on, dog, hey, come on, man, she a chick, man, you know, they posting up, hit her in the titty, she go clocking you, like, chill, bruh. every time I had to talk to the ref before the game, like, don't give her a tech. And she bound to split him. She split him one time, and we good. And we good.
Had a little slight anger issues, but you know, it's all good. It's all good.
It was respect. That's all.
So anyway, I want to start off with the word of the day, but I'm going to call it phrase of the day since it's kind of like 2 words. And the phrase of the day is long overdue. It's called Florida Man.
Florida.
Y'all ever heard of that?
Something.
Florida Man.
What's that?
I don't know. When you pay bills?
It's the show this came out?
Check.
No, man.
Okay.
But yeah, it was my boy Silver LaCoupe. He came out with a mixtape. Florida Man.
Really?
Yeah.
And when that occurred, when did that happen this year?
Yeah, I want to say he dropped it maybe 3 months ago. He had a lot of different artists on it. Philo B was on the record. It was a whole mixtape. It was a visual mixtape, so you can find it on YouTube. He started.
And you like it?
Yeah, it's dope. It's real dope, man. It's a dope concept. He going like all these old like Miami beats, Florida beats, and he just like freestyle all over. Like it's dope.
Nah, so you said Sylvan LaCoupe?
Yeah, Silver LaCoupe.
Okay, we'll have to check into that. That went over our head. So, all right, he made that, but I don't believe he's not responsible for the phrase.
No, most definitely not.
Now, I was about to look into it because I wanted to really know where it originated, but basically, it's from stories over the years of like they start off the headlines a Florida man, like, and it's always like some crazy story. And it's like, why the craziest story start off with a Florida man? And then, you know, as far as the black community, Charlamagne shined light on it. He emphasized that the craziest people come from where? Florida and somewhere else. He said, I think he said Detroit. I'm not sure. I don't want to throw Detroit in nowhere else. My bad.
Florida, I think we top on the list. We top on everybody, especially this week.
Oh, I already know.
You know, I'm like, how in the world, like out of Opalaka, you know he tried to frame us, dog.
Oh, look. See, you
know,
probably talking about something else. Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He tried to frame us, man. Fool gonna send them packages out of Opalaka, man. Like, man, we just trying to get that shit, bro.
They lied, not Opalaka.
Yeah, man. I was like, y'all lying,
See,
man.
now you know it's too much Florida manism going on because I thought you were referring to something else that occurred this week in Florida.
What happened?
Florida Gents. Yeah. The Florida Gents from Bartow or whatever,
Oh,
Florida.
and what, some of the ones that was waiting in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Oh,
Listen, who want to tell the story just in case people haven't heard? Anybody want to tell the story? Come on, India, tell it. You brought it to us first.
Okay. Now, the facts may be a little misconstrued, but basically, these kids, two kids, I don't know if they're like girls, I think they're girls though. They were waiting.
Yeah, there were 2 girls.
They were waiting in the bathroom for younger kids to come so they can overpower them, stab them, and drink their blood for some kind of like satanic ritual something. But apparently the mom of one of the girls stopped it because you know how they do the automated call when you don't show up at school? So they called her and the mom alerted the school that something was wrong, and the school resource officer found the 2 young ladies in there. I think they had like a pizza cutter or some kind of like weird something, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. We
Not
just
in
gonna say-
Florida. In
Yeah,
Florida.
it wasn't no blade, like you just had the blade up on your tongue back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Chicken.
No, they
were really out here like, you know, return the chicken.
No, and they wanted to like
Chucky's
overpower
brides.
the kids, the younger kids. So they were waiting for young kids to come in the restroom so they can kill them and drink their blood. And I'm not making this up. This is not a Halloween story. This was actually news for us here in Florida. So
You know what? That's interesting. You said Halloween. Like, do you think it was Halloween inspired? Now you said that because I wasn't even going that route with it.
no, I do think so because any scary movie you've watched when they do like the Ouija board and all that stuff, they always wait till Halloween. It's not like summertime and they're like, let's go resurrect some stuff. It's usually around Halloween. So
It's 2018. Like, do y'all think y'all so serious stories like this in 2018?
No.
I'm like 50. I'm like 50, man. I try to be a non-violent person, but I'm like,
bruh, get the strap.
Listen, because you run up on mine in the elementary school.
Hey,
I
man.
ran the
They
bird.
are 11 and 12-year-olds.
Hey,
What
look.
are 11 and 12-year-olds watching that? This is on their
It ain't about what they watching, it's about what they playing. I'm you know, I teach at the African Heritage Cultural Arts Center, so they had a game that they was playing in the summer, Fortnite.
Fortnite, yes.
And it's another one like Puff G,
I
something
heard
like
Fortnite,
that.
but I don't
But
know.
Fortnite is like, yeah, these kids, like, we had Grand Theft, they got Fortnite, and it's like 10 times worse, I swear.
Interesting. I've never played, but I know people are like addicted. It's a thing for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just crazy. I just couldn't. I thought that was made up. And then the fact that, see, now that's why it's important to show up to school and make sure your child is in school, because wasn't it because of a robocall or something?
Yeah, it was a
like that?
robocall.
Your
They
child
called
is
them
not
out,
in class, but you know why they're not? Because they have in the bathroom trying to prey on the little kindergarten or whoever, whatever.
But
they
I
are.
want to talk about that because, you know, on social media, anytime anything happens with kids, a lot of people jump in the comments and say, I'll never turn my kid in, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. But if my son waiting in the bathroom, we need help. It's not one of those things where I'm like, okay, that's my kid, he ain't kill nobody, so send him home. Like, he needs help.
Let's
Look,
flip it.
the only time we waited in the bathroom was like elementary catch the fade, man.
Yeah, okay. But not to overpower children and drink their blood with the goblet. Like, not to do that.
You know, if dudes is in the bathroom and you can't find them, look, bro, just he got pressure with somebody to catch this fade, bro.
They were going to drink the blood, and then also they were thinking about killing themselves after. Wow. All right, that's crazy. So speaking of Florida folks, wait, now do y'all think the Florida man is misunderstood? The Florida person. Maybe there's a good cause behind these headlines when they get called out for some crazy activity. Do y'all think we can save the Florida man?
No.
No, it's too far gone.
Oh, no excuses. It's over.
Nah, it's
Dang.
like,
It's just crazy down here. That's it.
yeah, like,
First 48.
yeah, bro, we done had it all. You know, I'm gonna talk about first 48 in a minute when you talk about like politics and all that.
Blends
Because
of culture
there's a lot
and
behind that,
everything.
yeah. But yeah, Florida man, I don't know, you know, I don't know what to say, man. Every week is something, you know.
Okay, so we definitely need to get into politics because as we head into November, we're heading into midterm elections. Actually, what, next week?
Yeah, we got early vote.
Just
Yeah,
about.
we got the early vote right now.
You should be voting right now, not even waiting until November 6th. But before we get into politics, right quick, I just want to be nosy right quick. I want to ask y'all, how y'all weekend was. Noise, what you did this weekend? It was, you weren't really responding to the group chat like that.
I was asleep. Sleep.
What was the cause of your sleep?
No. I was.
You naturally went to sleep
Yeah,
of natural causes.
I worked hard.
Sleep of natural causes. Okay.
Nah, I just went to a gender reveal. It wasn't mine. No.
Are you sure?
Relax yourself. He was a boy. I pretty much did.
Oh, you
So
had
that's
some
what y'all
thoughts?
call them now?
That happened.
They just gender reveal.
Gender reveal. So they can have 2 different events to get more gifts. I think
No, they
That's
actually
what I
didn't
we didn't bring no gifts? Oh,
They
that's
had
all.
food though.
No,
Awesome.
No, you're gonna
This is
gift.
new,
Listen.
man.
How you
Gender
gonna
reveal.
but how you gonna bring gifts to gender reveal? You don't know.
It don't
what to
matter,
bring
you can
gifts
buy
for.
unisex
Go
stuff.
ahead.
They do it all the time.
Hey, doing that baby shower. That's it.
You know, like, we gotta know it's here. You can't have no miscarriage and then flip, you know. Sorry.
Didn't you play
Hey,
flag
some people
football?
be
Oh
fake.
yeah. I did flag football Saturday. So.
Yeah, you just have all the free time in the world.
Not a lot. But I definitely got to get me in.
Okay.
My weekend, of course, work on Saturday.
Why she trying to downplay this?
I
like,
did,
Oh.
but I did turn up at the end of the night. I did.
Oh, how we turned up, girl?
I went to Studio 23 on the beach tonight.
Oh.
Mike Doolin, Mike. Monday,
Oh,
my party again.
live on Sunday.
Yeah.
Huh? Look, she
It's
is
Halloween.
booked.
It's Halloween.
She's booked and busy. She is out. And you said what for tomorrow?
Tomorrow, Studio 23 with Amber Rose.
Oh, look, y'all hear what she be? Y'all better catch this
Y'all heard
girl.
that.
We letting y'all know so y'all can put y'all bid in. Okay, but nothing on Halloween, because Halloween is on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
Nothing on Halloween as of yet?
Not that I
A
know.
little
Yeah,
trick or
I mean,
treat?
might be G5, I'ma see. Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, my weekend was rather boring and productive. So, you know, it was productive and that's all that matters. It was a positive. How was your weekend?
Wait. What? Wait.
I was just about to get it like, hold on.
I have someone else I can ask to like confirm your story. So let me know if it's your
No, we
final
don't have to,
answer.
nobody.
Let me know if it's your final answer.
Minute now.
Oh, now y'all know I like the eggs.
To the
Don't let
devil
them-
legs just
Okay.
came in the building.
Yeah.
1 a.m.
Exquisite.
came.
Y'all got no
man.
salad plate? I'm vegan. Y'all got no salad
Vegan?
plate?
Nah.
You can eat the white.
Yeah.
Nah, I can't eat the white. Don't
That's
tell
what
me
it is. All right.
Back to your weekend.
Oh, what? I said my weekend.
What you just said, you know, it was rather boring. You can say what you did though.
Well, I read a book under the moonlight. In the moonlight, gave me the light.
What kind of narrative you trying to I know you're
Munch,
teaching.
what did
I'm
you
about
do
to drop
this
some
weekend?
names.
Hey, nah, don't try to
Let
me.
me just ask somebody I know, because I don't know what you're doing. Like,
It was boring for real. No. I
That's
just
on the front.
got ready for today. This is my favorite day of the week, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Now, Munch,
I'm gonna say
you just came back from Africa with Akon. Say
Nah,
that.
man, I
The
don't know.
llamas
I don't know what she talking about.
at 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. this
I
morning.
don't know what you talking about. Nah, not no Africa. Nah.
No, you just came from putting flowers on Martin Luther King's grave. And, no?
Nah.
Nah. You know you did something extreme this weekend. What you did?
So what I did Friday. So Friday, Cary City Century Band. You know, of course, I'm a Rocket alumni. You know, 07.
How did that go?
Yeah, we lost.
Mm.
But you know, see y'all in a couple weeks. That's just how it go. You know?
Mm. Central used to losing?
Yeah, you know, probably. I ain't been. You know, that was my first time being in a game since I played ball. To be honest.
Oh, okay.
So it was kind of one of those things like, you know, one of those good mental health kind of like things, you know, for me because I ain't been, you know, I've been out of it, you know what I mean? And just to come back, you know, and everybody was showing love, it was like good for me.
That's what's up.
Saturday, I got up early. Like I said earlier, we was talking, you know, say yes to second chances. Amendment 4, yes on 4. So my boy Dexter Gunda, aka Chico, he is the organizer for Miami-Dade with the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition under the direction of Desmond Meade. So Amendment 4, you know, is the Rights Restoration Bill. It's not, unlike all the rest of the amendments on the list, it's not bundled, you know, with something. It's just strictly rights restoration. And the thing about it is that a Miami dude from the Scott Projects by the name of Desmond Meade is the guy that took this all the way to the Supreme Court and, you know, of Florida and made sure that they knew that it was unconstitutional to hold these guys' rights after they even served their time. So I was there, they did a march, you know, so a lot of felons gathered their families to get other people to vote for them so they could get their rights back. So I was one of the people, I actually did go early vote yesterday at our Color Lakes Library. And then today, I made a video. Yeah, I did a video for them, like I was doing a video for them. And I just wrapped up the video, I had to work and stuff, but I did a video, so. And then I came in, you know.
Look, now, India, what did you do?
well, now I don't even want to say it because
I'm sorry,
anything
man.
that I say is going to be
Listen,
like,
I told y'all this
I'm
man,
sorry. Say
why
the
you calling me
word.
first?
his simplest
Nah,
weekend is like that.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is,
simple
guys.
weekend
Yeah,
right
this is
there.
simple, yeah. Usually
Alright.
I'm like hitting 3-4 spots, but.
I'm passing on this question. What
No, you did not. What's up? What
Okay,
you do?
so I do like marketing and PR, so my client, Top Cutters Barbershop, shout out to them. Because we did win #1 barbershop in
Top
South
Cutters.
Florida,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
shout
yeah.
out to them. So we did an event today for people in the beauty industry where we invited them out. We had some experts on the panel. I moderated the panel. It was the first time I moderated anything, so it was a big thing for me. Especially since I don't have like a beauty industry background. It was a learning curve, but I was able to pull through. So I was happy to do that. The events that I do them alone. I mean, I'm blowing balloons, I'm putting up, I'm doing
Gotta
everything.
make
You
it
know what I
happen.
mean? I'm a one-woman show, so after the event,
Pretty hustle.
I needed this. This is much needed and well deserved, but it turned out to be a really great event. I'm looking forward to doing more of those, and definitely community events too, because the owner of that place, we've had Andrew Gillum there twice. We hosted them there twice, so we definitely care about the community. Yeah, we've had them there twice, so definitely. And today for Pretty Hustlers, because I know you guys know I'm the editor of Pretty Hustlers as well. We attended, well, one of our staff attended Women for Gillum. It was one of our last fundraising events that we were doing. So the pictures are going to be up shortly for that. Thank you, Lena, for going to my place because I couldn't be there. So definitely. All right, you did that. You carried that.
She's trying to talk about it, so she wasn't doing that and shit. Look at her.
I'm glad I wasn't at the money. She killed me. Y'all would have came to me, I was like, Anyway, okay. So y'all had some eventful weekends, pretty good. It seems like this is a good panel to have right now for the culture. Really doing it. All right, so Munch was really itching into politics. We might as well get into it. I was trying to wait on, no, it's fine. I was trying to wait on another guest. We were going to have someone from Andrew Gillum's camp who were going to further help us explain his platform and everything else with it. Hopefully he still comes. If not, it's all good because we got Munch, one of the smartest men I know.
I mean.
And I'm really knowledgeable.
But I've been around Gillum for a minute, so I pretty much know. So.
Okay, so one thing I want to talk about briefly is Megyn Kelly. I don't know if y'all know who that is.
Blackface.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We're going to get right into it. All right.
So Megyn Kelly is a woman on Fox News. She has her own show. I don't have to tell you what race she is, because most likely
she was on Fox. She was on NBC.
She on NBC? She was just on NBC?
Yeah.
So she wasn't on Fox just now?
Before she was on Fox, and she went to NBC and had a little job.
That's what she just had right now.
Over there. Yeah, and then they let her go, so she finna go probably back over there.
Okay, well, thanks for clearing that up. No, she been with Fox forever, but yeah,
basically,
she got
that was
this
a lady
new show.
that trumped this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but she's pretty cool, but I know deep down it's a lot of things. I'm just saying she doesn't understand. Like, she doesn't come from it. She lacks understanding.
Yeah.
Now, what happened this week, after I gave y'all that background story, what happened this week is they were having a conversation, her and some other folks on her show, about blackface and black people using whiteface. And she was basically saying, since when is that a problem? I thought as long as you were get dressed for someone as Halloween, it was fine. Well, guess what? It's not fine.
That's a tricky one though, and I kind of side with it, to be honest. You know what I mean? Because
much sides with her.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. Because like a few years back, I was in AZ. I went to college in Mason Community College in Arizona, right? So when I was in college, a dude named Jared Blitz, good friend of mine, white dude, right? We used to work, my work study job, I used to work in the gym. So he used to be with me all the time, and he basically dressed up like as a joke, like as James Brown one day. And we would always have these conversations. But this is a white dude, he had a fro, you know what I'm saying? But it was one day, it was like, yeah, I want to be James Brown. And of course it didn't really look like him, but you know, I done had enough conversations to know this guy's cool. Like, he ain't like that, you know what I mean? Like, I sat there, you know what I mean, and had conversations. So it put me in it just put me, so when I see the Megyn Kelly thing, I'm like, all right, if it's Halloween, come on, you kind of understand. But if it's outside of that, like, you got me in a minstrel show, like, that's when it's like, okay, historical context of minstrel shows, it's like, nah, I ain't rocking with that. So when the Hispanics, you know, talk about, you know, when they do it, and they do it in their type of shows that they have, it's like, I forget what type of show it is, but, you know, in Spanish culture, they have these type of shows where they do blackface, right? And to me, you know, to them, it's not offensive, but to many other people it is, you know what I mean? So I think we just gotta kind of like draw the line and say, okay, minstrel show deal, and you kind of making fun of us, who we are as a people, yeah. But if you know, Halloween, that's imitation is the purest form of flattery, you know what I mean? So,
Before I say something,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let y'all go. Anybody else want?
Okay, I'll chime in. So,
Uh-oh.
Is it okay?
no, I'm gonna chime in.
Okay.
So, do you guys watch Family Guy?
No,
Yeah,
okay.
a little bit.
So,
yeah.
on Family Guy, there's a baby. Tell me where you think the baby is from.
I think I've caught Family Guy second, but she's Hispanic, right?
Exactly. So when you watch these shows, it doesn't matter what we watch, they stereotype like all the time.
Yeah.
Now, will I go bleach my skin for Halloween so like it's not that serious for me because I'm not into the holiday? But I kind of do agree with what he says about it being a holiday because some people really go all out. They really like it. They decorate their houses. They're gonna spend that money for the costume. But if it's on a Tuesday, you're gonna catch this baby. Like you're not gonna just be like on a Tuesday.
Going
Like,
up
it's
on
like
a
no, baby, that's the wrong day for you.
Not the Monday, the Tuesday.
The Tuesday is not your day, but I
Monday, I'm
think
still trying to recover. I really don't want to go out and really hustle right now. You know what I mean? Tuesday, you can catch it fade though.
no, but I just think it's like a respect thing. It's one thing to be curious because my views, I guess, when it comes to people of other races, has changed. Because elementary school, I went to Crestview, right? So black school. Don't laugh. Oh, no, you better speak up.
I ain't laughing on
Hey.
I ain't laughing on Crestview now.
Okay.
I got kicked out of
Crestview.
school. You know? I went to Crestview for a little bit. It's about people, so you know.
Oh gosh. All right. So just so we clear, but for middle school and everything, I went to Apollo in Hollywood, and it was a mixed school. So it was like different for me to understand and adjust, and they were just as curious about me as I was about them. So some of the situations, I don't think it is like that, and we can't really police something like that.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not something that we can police, but we should be
Yeah,
honest.
No, but
We should
if
be honest with our feelings towards it, especially if it's a close friend or something. But I
Yeah.
mean, John Doe walking down the street, like, I'm gonna try to change his mind, but if he's like this, if this is how he is, what I say to him isn't gonna change his mind. That's my thought.
Let's go. What you got? Anything? Chantel, let's go, Chantel.
I'm kinda, I don't know, it's like,
Yeah, let's see you mix.
I mean, I get both sides on it, so I'm kinda like on the fence. It's kinda like, alright, because I do have friends who, you know, from different cultures and stuff, and so they'll have, I guess you say, impersonations of us, and we'll do it to them, and it's all out of, you know, just fun and laugh and jokes, but we all know each other, and we know it's not to harm each other, but just to see somebody random do it, it's like, yeah, I have a problem.
Norris, you're not getting away from this.
I know you ready. You on the edge.
I've been ready. Shit like that.
Well, like Halloween, I could tolerate that more in this month. I mean, anything outside of it is like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, October, okay. You know, we might run around with the Donald Trump mask. You know,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
so it's like,
Okay.
you gotta balance. But in October, yeah, you might be
I'm
slide.
giving you that one day.
All right,
One
so,
day.
okay, I'm just gonna ask this. Can a Caucasian just a non-black person, can a non-black person dress up as Trayvon Martin?
Yeah.
If they want to represent that, you know, a lot of non-black people was marching in the streets like Trayvon Martin.
Yes.
So
No, you can march for him, but you don't have to pretend you're him like that's something to be. You don't pretend to be a boy that
I know
got
it's
shot.
sensitive, it's very
Well, it's very sensitive, but
You
I
have
think
to be sensitive. Y'all need to start.
no, I think it's just in context. I think a lot of
Y'all
times, no,
I think it's,
what happens a lot
And
of
when I
times.
say
people
soft,
take-
I know y'all ain't soft in
No,
the streets.
it's just
I'm talking
that
about
I don't-
soft on these other races.
No,
Certain
it's not
things
that.
They should stay.
No, it's within the context, right? So it's like if it's Halloween, like I said, Halloween I give you a pass.
I don't feel like
I
it's a joke, because I feel like, you know, when Halloween dress up for things that joke, like you want to be like Lil Kim or Beyonce or stuff like that because they want to, but
And there's certain
that's how
things you
get
should
sensitive,
dress up
and
like.
Hitler is still
Yeah,
out there,
yeah,
like
yeah.
free, so
Some
I
people,
feel
I
like-
mean, Now, if you dress up like George Zimmerman, I got a problem. I got real pressure.
Yeah.
But if you never know what it is. Like I said, context. We don't know. I can dress up like Trayvon every day, cause it's my reality. You know what I'm saying? I wear hoodies every day. I go right.
Another thing,
every day.
Black people can do certain things, just like
but we can't
other
give them
races
pass.
can do certain things, and we can't get away with what they can do. Guess what? Because of things in the past,
I understand.
it's no such thing as I'm racist. No, I'm not, unless I'm doing something discriminatory, like I'm about to make up a word. Unless I'm being discriminated towards somebody, that's me being racist. But if I have an opinion that's because of a reaction from what has happened to my race, that doesn't make me racist. But somebody of another race acting a certain way towards Black people for no reason, just because of the color of their skin, that's racism.
Here's my thing. What if a white man dressed up like Trayvon Martin?
You should not be doing that. You shouldn't even finish that.
And look, hold on. He put on a black hoodie and he walked around in his neighborhood and he did it on purpose. And somebody probably called.
Is he advocating?
And he could be advocating. I'm telling you, I don't know.
No, ain't no. If he needs to state that.
I'm just saying.
He's not doing that for Halloween.
I'm still saying within the context of this one day.
But see, I guess what you're saying, like, it's different we advocating it, but Halloween is a different day.
You make like fun. That's no costume.
Yeah, you making fun of it. It's not a costume. That's real life.
I guess if we say we make fun of it, okay.
No, I want
This generation too loose.
No, I want to
But the
piggyback
Black
off of
Panthers,
that.
man.
No, I want to
The
piggyback
Panthers
off
got
of
knocked
that.
off. That's what happened to
Nah.
them. They were too militant.
No.
They ain't had no strategy.
They did have strategy.
I'm
They
gonna
had
piggyback
no
off
strategy.
It was
of
haters.
No, it was called. They
You
had
know
no
it's haters
strategy.
with them.
If you want to break this down, I could. Elrich Lieber literally is the reason why all the Panthers got took out. He was too loud. He ran his mouth too much. If you look, the only one that's still alive to this day is Bobby Seale. Everybody, and people say he snitched. So let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that they did when they sat up there and had them guns blazing, that changed all them gun laws. It's about strategy and tactic. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference between Malcolm and Martin. You know what I'm saying? The reason why Malcolm had to come to Martin at the end of the day, he's like, look, bro, I know they're gonna kill us. So, but the way you doing it, hey, we gotta go at this a different way. And I think, not to say that the Panthers, what they did wasn't good. A lot of the programs that they did, like the free breakfast club program and a lot of these things that they did was good. But I think the strategy and attack that they had was wrong. You know what I mean? A lot of times.
But that's what they do at that
But
time.
at the time, that's what they do and that's what they needed. I think sometimes you
I
gotta
still
be
respect
treated.
them brothers.
No, I respect them. I respect them, but I to sit back and we hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah, God like that.
You know what I mean? So we can go back, and that's the thing, we can say, but it won't be none of us left. If all of us get killed, it won't be none of us left.
No, it's a certain way to go about it. Just being on the same page here, but that can go.
Think about it. Think about all the leaders that's dead right now and that big ass gap. It's mainly because of all of them. Yeah, because all of them got knocked off.
Yeah.
Every last one.
This generation, though, is changing things. Like, we were on pause, but I feel like we're starting to build up momentum again because there are more people that are more conscious. And not conscious in a sense of, like, social media, like, I wear natural hair. Like, no. Like, really, really conscious and understanding the way that you can break that down for us about the Black Panthers. That's something I didn't know. I knew that they did all these programs, but I didn't know all these other things happened. So it's important for us to really, really understand where we came from so we can really know where we want to go. Because in a perfect world, everyone wants to say there'll be no racism, there'll be jobs, that's not happening, right? But we can make steps towards a better
And we
future.
could understand each other.
And I don't know
know
too
what's
many black
appropriate and
folks
what's
that
not
have
appropriate.
I don't know too many black folks that ain't moved up without some Jews behind them.
I don't, my folks, with
I'm
you.
just saying, like, when you look at the macro situation, we could talk about, like, we all doing our thing, right? But when I look at the macro progression, like, NAACP was started by black folk and Jews. It's the Jewish folk. So,
I mean, but if,
and a lot of things that's been happening right now, that black tech and a lot of Jews been funded.
okay,
I'm
but
just saying.
if you got
So
the
it's-
key, and we never had the key, I gotta play under you to get the key from the people. I
I
don't
get
care
you.
that I
I
had
get
to work
you.
with
But
you.
that go back to strategy, right? So that's all I'm saying. It's just like I just think like going back to this whole thing about Trayvon and the blackface. it's just like, I think sometimes we're just too sensitive. Like,
No.
we're just too sensitive about certain stuff. That don't matter. Like, somebody dressing up don't matter to me.
It does.
You feel me?
No.
It don't. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say,
Hold
hold on.
on.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I go to a school board meeting, I don't see nobody down there.
At all.
I go to the county diets, I don't see nobody down there.
What they gotta do with people making fun?
But hear what I'm saying is, we pick and choose. That stuff. Hold on. What I'm saying. Hold on. Hear what I'm saying. That stuff that's on the surface.
No.
Right? The stuff that's
always
underneath, the stuff that's underneath that really matters.
Every time
we
we
don't
talk
wanna
about
do.
something
We don't
real,
wanna do.
y'all wanna start
No,
talking
y'all
about
wanna
something
fight
that's
about-
right for
no.
us.
What I'm saying, I'm
Like
not.
you said,
No, I'm not saying that it's something that we don't do. I'm not trying
we
to
can
say
go
it like
all
that.
day about
What
that,
I'm
but
trying to
that's
say,
not what we
what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times we focus on the wrong shit. Like, we really focus on the wrong shit. Like, that's what it comes down to.
No,
Like,
I can agree with that, okay, because little Cody in Milwaukee dressing up like Trayvon Martin don't have nothing to do with me when I wake up in the morning. I'm sorry, like, I can say I don't like it, I can write a comment under Facebook, but he ain't gonna take that hoodie off. It's not gonna make him think any less of us, but
Kylie's still banking in off them shirts. I'm just being honest.
What
Now,
shirt?
I'm mad about that.
what church you got?
When the little cultural appropriation shirts and she was doing all this stuff with it.
yeah.
Yeah, now she made money. Now I'm hot about that because you made some money. You feel me?
Why you gonna be hot about
You
that?
know what I'm saying? Yeah, because
Why you
now
gonna
you
be hot
cutting
about
in him a dollar. That's representation at that point. I get what you're saying. It's coming out of representation.
all this, I almost heard, all this, I know I almost heard
I'm about economics, man. I'm about the money. Like if you cutting into my money, now I got
Not just
problems.
money, it's all that. They just need to know what to do and what not to do. Like,
Okay.
everybody needs to have respect
But,
for each
okay,
other.
how are we
So-
gonna know what to do and what not to
Shows
do? Is
like
there a
this.
book?
Is there going to be a universal
The
code,
other
some
side,
type of
you
book
can't say
that,
this, but you
that,
can wear every
that all black people are going
This
to
is what I'm
follow?
saying.
Got each one.
This is what I'm saying. All black people don't think the same.
We don't.
Exactly.
But they-
We're not monolithic. Nobody's
We're
monolithic.
not, but check
Those
it.
people.
If there's a very large group of black people that feel a certain kind of way about any issue that we bring up today, if there's a large portion of black people that synonymously feel this way about it, then it matters, because it's someone's voice.
No, I'm not saying that it don't matter. I just think like a lot of times it's like, when I look at the bigger situations and I'm looking at like, we talk about Andrew Gillum, right? We could go to Gillum, right? The real problem is, like if Gillum went back and forth by, oh, you racist, you did you did this, you did that, we wouldn't be like, okay, he's the best man for the job. I mean, white folks sit up there saying, yeah, man, I'm going for him because he looking making this dude look like a fool.
The thing is, and from the last debate, not the one he had one previously, I forgot what day it was, but the other candidate just talked about all the things that he wasn't. And what I liked is that Gillum actually brought up the issues and things that we cared about. And it's piggybacking off of what he says, like, we can go all day, we can call Trump racist, we can call everyone racist, and we can talk about you're racist, you said this, I didn't like it. But at the end of the day, our
What did
economy
you
still
do
sucks.
specifically?
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, we need to focus on the facts. I understand the feelings, because I'm black too, like, trust me. And under this wig, I got some curly hair, and people be like, what you mixed with? And I be like, I'm black. So, you know, I definitely understand your perception of it, the dark skin thing, the colorism, like the whole thing. Like, I'm on the end of that.
You know, y'all really all over the place.
Everything. I know we go.
Y'all done went to different segments, but we going.
No, I really want you guys to just understand that it's not that, well, for me, let me speak for myself. It's not that I don't care about the kid in Milwaukee dressing up like that, but right now I have a black son that I need to think about the laws and things.
All of that is
connected.
connected. That whole thing is connected to
But it's so small on such a small scale for like a kid in Milwaukee wearing the hoodie.
Why you keep using it?
Because I have to use that example because you keep saying people dressing up and we're being soft. But that don't matter. Like my 5-year-old son not thinking. I'm like, he's not thinking about that. It's just a different thing.
How would white people know they're wrong for doing something if black people don't voice that they want to do?
Okay, but okay. Excuse me, I don't think you should wear this hoodie like that because Trayvon Martin died and we're real sad about it.
No,
Like,
that don't,
okay, what is wrong with it? Tell me what's wrong. Not with how you feel. Give me
I already
facts,
stated it. Someone's
information.
child.
There's a lot of kids that died. They had on hoodies. They got shirts,
This is an epidemic that's pretty bad. That's why you shouldn't make it.
But I
So
mean,
did we stop buying Arizonas or Skittles?
They still buy it.
Hold on. How
And
is
I
that
got one at a
Skittles'
time.
fault?
How
Y'all
is
gotta
that
stick to what we
fault?
talking
No,
about.
no, what
No,
I'm saying is if you gonna hold them accountable, hold it. They didn't say
Everybody,
nothing.
You can't pick and choose.
You can't pick and choose, that's all I'm
Skittles
saying.
can or cannot say anything. They don't have to.
Look,
We can
that's
have
what I'm
that
saying.
opinion that they should, but really, if you
But
think about it, they don't
that's
have
And if they funding stuff behind the scenes that's still benefiting the other side, then we gotta look at that too. That's all I'm saying. It's deeper, it's
Are you
divesting
trying
it
to
with.
say something right now?
Yeah.
That maybe they made a profit after that happened, because
Yeah.
weirdly stuff do happen like that.
Come on, man.
Okay,
Just go-
yeah, but that's not my focus. Look, I'm not
imagine more
trying to get
years
into
old after that, or-
people pockets so much like that. Like, I understand when people like profiting off us and like really like,
And
you know, not doing anything about our situation. But listen, let's
People
get back
still-
to what?
people still got Bank of America accounts. People still, you know what I'm
What
saying?
they do with your
Bank of
money?
America was the people who financed the slave ships to bring our ass over here. New
Do
York
everyone know
Life
that
Insurance.
much?
New York Life Insurance. All I'm saying, you brought me on the show to drop back so people can know, right? If we gonna pick and choose, let's pick and choose. These
We ain't
are the same
picking and
people
choosing.
that-
No, we are picking and choosing.
How we picking and choosing?
Based on the examples that you're giving, right?
just saying.
Because, okay,
If we gonna talk about representation, I'm more hot at Bank of America getting bailed out and insurance companies. Like insurance literally was for the masses to recoup their money, dog.
Who
Like,
got Bank of America in here?
Not
Look,
after the day.
Look, I ain't got a BOA account. I'm just saying, I know folks that do. You know, I know black business owners that say, oh, they got the best rates. We gonna go to Bank of America. If we gonna really make a decision, we gotta really make decisions. And I'm telling you as a person that's wearing nothing but all black shit right now, other than these Nikes on my feet. You feel me?
How are we gonna find solutions if we always going to the next thing that black folks not doing right?
No, we not. No, it's not that. It's not talking about what we not doing. I'm not talking about what we not doing right.
Yeah,
I'm talking
we
about.
said we
I'm
still
talking about
support
us
Bank of
making.
America,
I'm talking
all
about
that.
us making conscious decisions about where our money goes, making conscious decisions about how we live our lives, making conscious decisions about how these people are going to respect us. It's not about, oh, we gonna pick and choose. Nah, hell no. It's about, look, dog, that's what I say. Every day I can go walk in H&M. No, I'm not gonna walk in that shit. Not on coolest monkey in the jungle. I'm not gonna walk in that shit. Period.
Hold
The
on.
fool got this.
Alright, I'm about to get you.
No, hold on. Hear me out.
Oh,
And the mom on some stupid shit. But hear me out. I made a conscious decision because at the end of the day, H&M is cheap for dudes. I'm telling you, that $39 for them little.
I think I saw a status. I'm like, look at Mark. She's still going to H&M.
Yeah. And the minute the cool came with jeans and all that, guess what? I stopped going.
Oh, because
You
you
feel me?
needed another outfit.
No, because in basic economics, everybody does marginal utility, marginal benefit. It was no
Break that down
viable.
for the people
If there's a viable alternative, right?
Right.
When we talk, it was no viable alternative. If I can go get pants for $40 or $29 or $30, right? Is it anywhere else I'm getting them for $30? No, I gotta go to Purple Carpet and I'm spending 60, 70, and I'm already cutting into my budget. All right, I want to support them, but I can only get one pair of jeans. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta make a conscious decision to do that. That's all.
I think for us to have our own football league, for football players to lead the NFL, we need our own football league. For us to stop shopping here, we need to have our own shop.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I understand that, but
I want to chime in on that.
okay.
So a lot of people complain about like segregation again, right? But here you're saying that we
Who
want to
complains
have,
about
just
segregation?
in general,
Just
in general, right? Because remember, our ancestors, white water fountain, black water fountain, all that, right? So we overcame that for the most part. But at least they can't blatantly put a sign. They don't act that way, but they can't really put a sign up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're saying we want all of these black things, which is completely fine, right?
Mhm.
So why do we get upset when they say they want their own stuff? Because look at what we're saying. We say we want our own.
Like,
so why can't they have
it's
their
funny
own?
to me that we're both black and like our opinions are different. Though we don't see it, so that's why this show is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Because I feel like you should feel like me straight up.
So
Don't they already have their own everything?
I would say they've always been superior.
listen. They
No, wait.
Okay.
So segregation. You said a word. Segregation. When I think of black people having our own stuff, I don't even think of segregation. I think of us just having
We've always got things taken away
you know,
from us.
having our own kind of stuff. They got their own.
we got our own. But that don't mean they can't come over. That don't mean we can't go over. It's just that ownership, just to promote black ownership, so
We
we
can
can have
own
our
it, but
own
we
thing.
still gotta sell it to them.
No, yeah, we can send it to
I'm
them
just
too,
being
but
honest, because at the end of the day,
but who control the pool? Who really spending money? Blacks. Yeah,
Yeah,
we need to.
yeah.
But look at the scale, and no offense to the
Yeah,
pool, but look at the
yeah,
scale. You know what I'm saying? Look at the examples that you're giving. When you talk about the communities and different things that we have, we
Shut up,
lack.
man, that's my boy, man.
Yeah, we did an interview with him. I'm not just
Yeah.
trying to be funny, but I'm just saying, like, you're talking about one store there. He doesn't have franchise. He doesn't have several
Okay.
stores. You know what I'm saying? So when you want to do a comparison, like, bring me someone on that level and then say like, oh well, we want to have.
You're
our
telling
own kind of
me
thing.
to try to find a black person on the level of other white.
But yeah,
That's what we're going towards.
I know,
That's
but
what we did now.
but listen, we had okay. So you're saying that there's not that, right? We don't
There's
have that,
not.
and we want to get
Hip hop would
there.
have never grew if white folk went buying it.
Like all that,
I don't
all that
understand
food,
why
all
y'all-
that culture come from them putting the money behind it. It wasn't like we had all the
Do
money.
y'all
doing
think
all
I'm
this stuff.
saying white people never bought anything?
No,
No,
not
I'm
that
not
they
saying
didn't
that,
buy
no.
it, but what I'm saying is that okay, we saying that we want our own stuff, and that's completely
Ownership,
fine.
just
But
ownership.
we've had
Not-
ownership. It's not like we've never had it. We've had ownership.
Who's had ownership?
So
Black-
many
blacks
things.
have
Blacks
had ownership in a
have
lot of
ownership.
things.
Okay,
Maybe
not
not in Florida,
at-
but other
We had-
places that are more stubborn, they do have communities where they're self-sufficient.
Is it very common for black people to own things?
Okay, but
Let's
Can
talk-
we be
hold
real?
on,
I
hold
don't
on.
have time.
No,
Hold on, let's
listen.
talk about it.
Listen.
It's common for
It
us.
can
We're going
be.
to
I
a
never
phase
said
of
there's
ownership.
never
ownership.
been a black owner.
I
Like,
know, but I
no.
know so many. Like you're making it seem like it's like damn. Like I
We
think
don't
every
have-
friend
we
I
need
have
hella
a
black
business
owner.
No.
Every friend I have their own business. I don't know.
oh, they got their hair boutique.
No, not hair boutiques.
No,
like
I
actual
know people with
businesses.
various
Like,
businesses.
I'm not
so-
actual
And
businesses.
that's
My
nice,
clients
but
are
it's
black
still-
with actual businesses.
Yeah, I think it's just you don't know about it. Like
Yeah,
I'm just
I
being
really do
honest,
think
and I'm not
so.
trying to slight you or nothing like that. Like I just know a lot of black businesses. It's
Okay.
not- you know what I mean?
Another problem black people have sometimes is they can only see their own experience and
And-
can't go past their
And that's what
own.
I'm saying.
You have to look around and pay attention, and there's not a multitude of black businesses on this damn
No,
block.
but we don't. But
So you live in
so you
Florida,
want to
no,
be
it's
like
not.
you want to be like Snap. Like we talk about high tech, right? Man, black man got a business.
This is still
You feel me?
growing.
I'm gonna go to him before I go to iPhone or whoever. I'm going to him.
I think
That's
it's all about
great.
who we know,
Who we know
and how you
and
promote
and how we
yourself,
promote
because
it. It's a
you
lot
know
of
and
different
back.
factors in business that we getting there. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it's just gonna be
High
like
tech
quick
is
snap.
running,
You feel me?
but high techs have higher goals.
Yeah, of
That
course.
will have it on a level to where very commercial people, like people, just random people can be able to access it through a building. Like,
Yeah.
why not acting like,
No, I'm not, and that's why I'm at with it.
But I
We
would
saying
say
the same
also
thing.
on that, I would say,
I'm not
when we use the word successful black business, that does play a part as well too, because I feel like us as people, as black people, we kind of doubt each other anyways. We'll be
Yeah.
like, we have some of us that'll say like, oh, she's selling hair, but this white girl's selling hair, oh, her hair might be more quality than her, or she might be doing fraud because she
the
black.
black
and I
girl
trust the
have
white
that more
girl.
quality than the white girl here, right?
But I'm saying that's how people.
Not-
that's how
I'm
people-
that's
sure you was about to say
No,
that.
but that's how some people.
The black girl knows
some
about
people-
it.
Some people respect us, man.
No, but you just said looking past your experience. So the white girl, she might have the money to get the quality hair, but the black
Oh, no,
girl,
I
she
was just
not.
joking. But, no, I'm just, y'all tripping me out here, y'all trying
No,
to say that.
we ain't doing that shit.
No,
You know,
no, he ain't going at me, y'all acting unreal.
No,
Like,
How,
no, it's not.
what's unreal?
I know this is
Hold
a
on,
nice block,
What's unreal? What's
What you
unreal
said
about it?
and the Jamaicans are, good, shout out to the Jamaicans.
This is the city of Miami
We
Gardens,
ain't
home
own
to
this stuff around here like
110,000,
this, bro, what y'all talking about?
home to 110,000 black, mostly residents now,
Dominated.
that started this city now. City of Miami Gardens.
All right, you know
110,000
what?
strong now.
Since the folks wanna act like this is the Renaissance Hall
No,
and all that
it's
stuff,
not.
alright, since they wanna act like that, what we need to do as a community is develop some kind of website where all black businesses in Dade County can be accessed. So
South
that,
Florida Black Business Directory.
South Florida Black Business Directory,
Yeah, you got my boy Star X. He's about to do some stuff.
I follow him.
He's the VP of Black Tech Week. He about to do like a black business, like the SBA, the Small Business Association for black folks. So it'd be like Black Business Association, some stuff like that. So
He's working on that?
yeah, it's something he's working on.
See, but that's what I'm saying, we don't have that,
But it comes in time. I think, like I said, we lost a lot, integrating and segregating. You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about that too. Like, I can talk about Tulsa got bombed. I can talk about how in the bus boycott, after the boycott, we lost majority of our bus lines. So, integrating. So, it could go on and on. There's a lot of different factors to it.
There's a lot of different factors.
And I think we both on the same page.
But, as far as 2018, we have to talk about the now.
Yeah.
And about how people can be working towards the near future and the now. And we need more establishments as black folks. I'm not talking about in your home and you can, no offense to anybody that's doing anything in the home, because shoot, that junk booming out the crib.
I mean, let's talk about
everybody
it.
knows what we all want to do.
Juanita's Kitchen started out was a trap kitchen.
I mean, we all want our own spot.
Hold on, I'm gonna talk about it. Juanita's Kitchen, Ernisha, Tayon, sister, right? Older sister. We talk Ernest Anderson. Tayon, right?
Okay.
So they went to school with us, right? He's now the co-owner of Shipping and Jiving, right? Over there with 47 and 167, right?
They pay good,
So
y'all.
yeah, so and the sister Sarah, right? She does all the cakes. And the treats. Now, but guess where they started out of? Juanita's Kitchen started out, it was a trap kitchen, literally out of the house. You feel me? So I think we get there, and it's a natural progression. We had to build that ecosystem. And you know what I'm saying? I think, it's about being in the know, like we said, and getting out of where we at. Even myself, I used to feel the same way you did. I was like, man, nah, we ain't rocking with that shit. But now that I'm around different spaces and I'm seeing different things, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, we do have this. I can't look at it from a mindset of what we don't have. We do got it. You know what I'm saying? You got them. I can keep naming them. Miami Millennial Investment Group. You feel me? It's a bunch of
what do they do?
So it's a bunch of black basically professionals who it was an initial $10,000 like buy-in from black professionals, and they basically went and bought a lot of houses in our urban areas, specifically Liberty City, Opelika, and Overtown, and basically they rent them back out at affordable rates for us. So it's the money play, you know what I mean, at the same time, but these are black people that's doing it. We can't say like, oh, it's not being done, and
I did not say nothing.
No, we're not that nothing's being done, but we can sit there and say like, okay, it's not getting done at the pace we would like maybe, but it's getting done, it's happening, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's happening,
And I feel like a lot of people need to be financially educated
as
well.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know what to do with their money, or how to invest.
Exactly.
So that's a very important factor right there for anybody. If we knew what to do with money, if we knew how money worked, we would be able to reach out and grab those properties and
I mean,
that nature.
even just starting a simple, like one of the things, I'm starting in January is like with Peace in the Hood Open Forum that I do every year is like, man, we can start a fund. Like straight up, like everybody, that's how they do it. All the illegal money go right there in the trust fund. Nobody checking that. You know what I mean? So why can't we have a community fund that reinvests in our community? That's all the CRA is. We gonna dump our little private money, make the county or whoever public match funds or whatnot, and we gonna partner with them. And that's how they've been doing it. I think we just gotta look at the way they've been doing business and try to do the same thing.
This was one heavy topic.
It really was, but I'm happy that we had the conversation because I like playing the devil's advocate. It's fun for me. It's fun for me.
I still don't understand how y'all don't understand what I'm talking about.
No, but I just want to show different point of view because there's different people watching. Some people agree with what you're saying, some agree with what I'm saying. So
I'm probably like, man, you tripping.
But it's good to see the different sides, and it's a learning experience for me. I'm learning things I didn't know before. I'm sure the people out there are too, so I'm all here for it.
Black Miami is struggling.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what y'all see, but
Nah,
No, we-
mostly everybody
I
trying to
agree.
stay above water.
Mhm.
All
I
right,
agree.
now we're going to get into some more politics, but with some help from a friend of mine named Abdul. Come on through, Abdul. Let's clap it up like they do on TV. That man got a baby on.
You can slide right over here, man. She trying to get up out of here. I don't know what she's trying
Uh-huh.
to do. It's all good.
I think she want to check on the
How
camera.
you all doing?
Yeah, we all good, we good. All right, so we got real deep, real fast.
Yeah,
But-
I heard.
Yes, we must talk about, oh, you want to drink? Okay.
Really?
Get that drink.
Please.
I'm sorry, y'all.
She want her drink. That's all.
Oh,
Hey, I want to say, man, what again? Hey.
Oh,
you
let
know?
me get, I got some.
I
all
said,
right.
I'm
Yeah,
pulling
get
up,
the folks right, man. Get the
I
guests
don't even need no
right.
ice, dog. I don't need that thing. to
Maybe
water
better
down
much,
just
you
straight.
can't
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah, man.
So anyway, with the 5. All right. So okay, we must get into what's really important to talk about this week, next week, midterm elections, the gubernatorial, right?
They big.
Now, why is that the name? Anyway, it's just it's whack. Anyway,
You're rather gubernatorial.
just governor race. Why?
Something more simple, you know.
Yeah, all that goober.
But I get where, you know.
Okay, so tell the people, what do you do in the political field as of now?
But right now, I'm currently,
You can put the mic on.
but currently right now, I'm at, should I start the camera?
If you want, or me, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I've been doing.
Switch it up, you a star.
You a star right now.
But currently, I'm a professor at Florida A&M University.
Dope,
Hey,
dope.
Rattler.
Man, you-
Yeah, so I graduated my PhD last year in political science, and I'm actually a
Don't do.
yeah, so yeah, it's a professor, full-time professor at Florida A&M University. So I,
Black
now.
excellence.
So attended Florida A&M in undergrad and for my master's, and got my PhD from Parkland University. So
Dope, dope.
so all HBCUs,
Nice.
And all of which is in political science?
all of them political science, public administration, public administration for masters, but political science undergrad and
Dope.
political science PhD.
Now, you know when a brother's smart, when they talk fast like that, like dude that created Facebook. Like y'all saw that Facebook movie, how he was just like, all that computer. That computer just be going. All right, so, all right. Now, what do you plan to do, what is your goal in the political field with all those degrees? Because you got to be going towards something.
Well, as far as if you were talking about like into politics itself, I don't necessarily see myself running for like office or anything like that. And you would find that most people who study political science on this level, on the PhD level, you really want to find them like running for office per se, because we understand the dynamic of it. We mostly would fall in the category of consultants, you know, or working on campaigns or campaign management.
Plan more in the background, but very important.
And there's a lot of money in that, you know, and a lot of privacy as well. So, you know, it's more strategic in a way where it's a it thing for politicians, you know, when we're looking for, if you're going to be a campaign manager or someone who consults a politician, you want to find to see if this person has that it factor, you know, electability, you know, and this is what we're looking for in candidates. And if we don't see it in them, we try to see if we can pull it out, and if we're going to be a political consultant. But again, currently right now, I'm a lecturer right now, and I actually have some publications coming out as well. So again, that's just what I do. This is what we can do and what I have done in the past. So that's some of my expertise in it, as far as election and the electoral behavior as well. And that's what I observed that.
Well, when those things come out, you definitely got to come back through the culture.
Yes, most definitely. And you know, as far as this, we've seen something unique in the sense the type of black elected officials or people running for office, especially for the governorship. In Stacey Abrams in Georgia or in Florida, Adam Gillum, where that area coming to HBCUs. Now, it's not rare in the sense to where that we saw in 1865, we saw a lot of individuals coming from HBCUs, High Rebels, and the likes, when I had a lot of black candidates going into a high office and high position in the federal government itself. So it's not unusual, but in the modern time, I would say, this is something that we haven't seen in a while. Typically, if they are black, if we look at the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, or if we look at Barack Obama, it's always the Ivy League, Yale, things of that nature. But now it's in the HBCU.
That's an interesting. I didn't think about that.
Would
HBCUs
you
trying to run things.
attribute that though, just to the current state of what's been going on, and representation and different things that just been happening in the, what I would say last 8 to 10 years?
Well, you're talking about regarding like the social movement?
Yeah, just like social movement and just people. I mean, they all have their trajectories or whatnot, but you know, people wanting to get involved and want to be more active. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and these candidates there, you know, they bring in something that I won't say the rhetoric is different, but it's just a fresh face, you know, in a fresh background. I mean, for modern time, and I'm going to keep saying modern time because we have seen this in the past.
Exactly.
So we have high elected officials. So I won't discount those individuals that came before, like some Andrew Gillum but maybe not on the Barack Obama level, but the Senate level. But, not on presidential level. But well, definitely, and I was attributed to the times, you know.
Do you identify with a particular party?
It's tricky because, you know, what individuals tend to do, those persons who find themselves to be enlightened in the sense of their political process, they will tell you something like, well, the Republicans this way, and both parties the same, and so on and so forth, or what have you. So I'm gonna register as an independent, you know. And again, you can do that. However, what you would come to find out, what independents have found out in the past, is that when it's time to vote, particularly in the primaries, exactly, to where you won't see the individual that you may be registered as an individual, an independent, but then you find out that you can't vote for Andrew Gillum for the primary race, and you probably would have wanted to vote for him.
I literally, that was my experience, being honest. I was an independent, mainly because I just ain't, you know, I've been active with the Young Dems and a lot of cats, but it just was like, I ain't like the rhetoric. I was like, I seen what happened with Bernie. And I said, nah, I ain't gonna let this happen again, especially when I got kind of like a heads up that he was gonna run. So I said, nah, I'm gonna switch. And I was like, so we can get him in there, because I wanted to vote in the primary, because that was what was important. Because let's say, you know, in the primary, he didn't, you know, he needed to get past the primary in order to get nominated. So if we didn't switch, you know, a lot of independents, like I was telling all my friends who was independents too, like we need to switch to the Democratic Party. Like, you know what I mean, just to get them in there. You know, because more oftentimes than none, that the better candidate is, you know what I'm saying, most times coming from that side. And if you can, do it. You can switch whenever you need to switch, you know what I'm saying? Just to be honest, you know, it's just a matter of registering, taking out, doing what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, and you know, again, particularly when like you can identify with any party you want, again, but of course when it comes to like the primaries itself, you won't be able to select a particular candidate. However, you can register with the Republican Party, but you can vote for Andrew Gillum, you know, so again, people get confused with parties and ideologies. You can be part of any party you want. It's the ideology. It doesn't match up with what your personal ideology is, you know. So again, you are real closely aligned with whatever reflects most of your ideals and values. Now, does it reflect all? No, but again, we find ourselves in this two-party system because if we try to go for that third candidate, the Green Party or the Constitution Party, or we'll say that, well, we can split the vote, which that's a potential, or the candidate is not likely to win. So you say, okay, well, let me go with the Democratic Party or the Republican Party if that's whatever you want to side with, because they have the better chance and the better platform. So that's why we always find ourselves in either or. And it's more, I can get the academic side of why we feel as though that both parties or both ideologies, conservative or I would say modern day liberalism or modern liberalism is still the same because it's birthed from the same ideology, which is classical liberalism, right? And this is coming from Adam Smith and John Locke, you know, so it's using the same framework, but just kind of, they use government but in different ways. So they may want to use government to stop abortion, you know, or to not have same-sex legalized or what have you. So they're using government in that fashion, but then they want government out of economics. Where that social or Democrats or modern liberals will want government involved in economic affairs and ensure that government can help and ensure these entitlement programs or what have you. So they're using government in different ways. Then they want government out of your personal life. Who you should marry, government should be involved. So again, same ideology, and that's why we see them doing the same approach, but for different reasons.
Yeah. So
have you worked closely with Andrew Gillum during your time in Tally?
No, I haven't. I was always aware of him. Of course, he was city commissioner, one of the youngest city commissioners, if not the youngest city commissioner in Tallahassee. And I don't think he was the youngest mayor in Tallahassee, but you know, his presence was known, and I was aware. But no, I didn't know him personally. No, I don't know him personally.
How would you say just your experience with him as mayor in Tallahassee? What do you think about that?
Well, actually, you know, I really didn't live in Tallahassee. Like literally, I was living in Atlanta, and I'm here in Miami.
That's what I'm talking about. You ain't trying to bash no brother. That boy ain't live in Tallahassee out of nowhere.
But I didn't live there.
I didn't even live there.
I didn't live there long enough to really, you know, to really say like, hey, this is what I experienced. Some of the rhetoric that's coming out as far as negativity, as far as what, you know, the high crime rates and like that.
Yeah.
If you compare it to where I'm from in Miami, of course, Tallahassee compared to Miami, I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, you know, again, it's just rhetoric and it's just political pundit talks that they do when they bring up that type of negativity. Of course, he's not without criticism, and we have to be careful with our politicians and understand he is still a politician and not try to glamorize him as we do most politicians. For whatever reason, it's human nature in us to do that, but he is a politician, and understanding the dynamic of what he says, because, you know, he would say like, I'm going to fight for minimum wage, I'm going to fight for this, or what have you. That's a big difference, because you have to understand that he just can't make the law happen. So if he wants to increase teacher pay, it has to be an act of legislation.
Exactly.
And he set the agenda.
Exactly.
But understand that the Republican.
But I like if
that's power.
Hey, set that agenda. Hey, I'd rather that than a person not even doing anything at all,
Yeah.
which is what the other person will probably do.
But at the same time, you know, and more to what he's saying is I feel like we gotta hold these people accountable, right? So if he say he gonna raise teacher taxes, okay, how you gonna do that? Explain to me how you gonna do that.
He got a plan.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, what's the plan? A lot of times we just like, oh, he said he gonna do this.
I'm glad you said that.
You know what I mean?
We about to float all over the place because I do want to stay within an hour at one of these episodes. So listen, no, we about to float all over. You said how though? That's one thing I can say about Andrew Gillum and Democrats, period. When I watch debates, it's almost as if Democrats are trained to tell you exactly how they're supposed to do something. And then the Republicans' game is to play the talk about the negative things that the Democrats, or the controversy, or for instance, they asked DeSantis something. So how do you plan to such and such? And he'll say, well, I'll tell you what Andrew's going to do, and that's not going to work. He didn't ask you about that, sir. He asked you what you're gonna do. So I find that, like, I hate when they do that. It's like they get, and then their seconds are up. And then they never explain how they're gonna go about it. That's Republicans right there. At least DeSantis and Trump before him. That's how Trump did it. He'll just bash Hillary the whole time and never tell you how he's gonna do anything. He never had to tell us.
But I felt like he appealed to his base, right?
Yeah.
So one of the main things, like we talk about healthcare, Republicans went ham on healthcare, like Obama, and they called it Obamacare. But Bush was the one who was the first one right there.
What do you mean by him?
Well, it was Big Romney, that creation of how it looks and how it was
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out of Massachusetts under Big
Yeah,
Romney.
yeah.
It was a Republican.
Right, yeah, exactly.
It wasn't like it stemmed from Democrats that they created.
Yeah.
It actually
And-
was drafted from that.
Exactly. And then on the back end, when you talk about like Trump, right? He poked at those guys that stay in those little hick towns that have these illnesses, and healthcare really affected them more than it affected us in these big cities. You know what I'm saying?
You know who healthcare really affects? Women.
Oh,
And you
of
know
course.
who Republicans don't care about covering women. Democrats have an audience for that. Like, Democrats want to treat, you know, they want to do, that's what I'm saying. Like, the thing about, I'm going to just say one thing about Democrats versus Republicans, because I'm not even a Democrat to the core, like loyal like that.
Yeah.
I'm for whoever is for our community.
Yeah.
And despite how a lot of black people think that, oh, why you loyal to the Democratic Party? They never did it. First of all, the reason why it's hard for us to even win half the stuff we be needing to win, because it's so much diversity in the Democratic Party. We got the LGBTQ. Might have a female over here that don't even care for gays, but she's a Democrat. Then you got then you got somebody that don't care for blacks, but they're a Democrat. You know, like it's just so many different Democrats versus Republicans. Boy, they be solid. They unified in hate.
I don't think so. I think they
Most times.
They just
I like picking
more silent about how they. I think you.
They be on the
It's
same
on the same
page.
thing on the same side. No, it's just like for instance, there's a lot of people in the Republican Party I think don't agree with Trump, but they're not gonna say nothing, and that's the difference.
They don't agree with the things he's saying, how he handles things, especially they don't agree with the real bold things Trump do. Like, hold on, I have to say something about this now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you around here doing the immigrants dirty. They have to say something. But
in order for things to get passed, there has to be some bipartisan agreement. So that means that it's a give and take on both sides, right? So some people are going to say, okay, with abortion, I bet it's Republicans in it, especially the women that's in it, like, no, that should be my choice. But we don't hear that side. I mean, like, media is
the men
really
run the
skewed.
Republicans.
But media,
they got their women in check.
yeah, no, but media is really skewed as well. Like we may not see a Republican state that's more liberal,
I
so
went
to say,
to
or
a
less
gun
conservative.
show. I went to a gun show. I asked homegirl, and what I mean by homegirl, it was a Caucasian woman. She was nowhere near my age, but she wasn't old too. If I would guess, she was like late 30s, early 40s. And I was like,
You know they age different.
yeah.
Black don't crack.
But I could tell their age immediately. But yeah, so I was like, who you voting for? And she was like, I already knew, because she knew who she was talking to. But yeah, she was voting for Trump, and she told me why. And I forgot exactly why, but I was like, how could you? Grab him by the, and she was like, yeah, but all in all, they just stand by, I think the Republican culture is, I want to win in the future, so I'm going to agree with whatever the winning party agree with, because I want to win. But it needs to be some humanity in that party. Y'all going after the Republicans.
Rand Paul? Rand Paul was one of the guys that was like far left in the Republican Party. Like when everybody was like,
Dead.
no, he's still alive. Like this man was like, that's why he doesn't get elected by Republicans. Like in my honest opinion, you feel me? Like, and that's just one person that I know. He really was like a Democrat in the Republican Party, so to speak. So, and that's just to put it. That's just not saying he was, but just
I'm curious because I think we probably got low-key Republicans in the House. So I just want to hear from other folks in the House, just in case. Ain't nothing wrong.
I mean, I know black Republicans too.
I know a couple black Republicans.
People just want to be trendy.
No, I think it comes down to like you said, it come down to the values. Like for instance, I'm one of the people like, all right, I'm all for social programming, right? But it has to be some type of fiscal responsibility behind that, right? It can't just be like, oh, we gonna have like the Republicans always say welfare programs, but their real thing is fiscal responsibility. It's like a line between social programs and fiscal responsibility. It's like, how are we gonna pay for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't want big government. Like Republicans is like big government. We don't like big government, and it's all because of fiscal responsibility. You take the Democrats on the other hand, they're like more social issues. They want to make sure the people are taken care of.
They're gonna do any means necessary so we can get out of the hole.
But at the same time, yeah, they get us out, but then the country's still in debt. And then you have things that happen.
Who fall?
Hold on. The national debt keep going up.
All right, that's all.
Over years, it's gonna keep going up, no matter who says that they.
But don't tie that to Democrats.
I'm just saying, it's on both sides. Right or wrong?
Because Republican policies favor
the businesses,
I'm saying because you all kind of like fall right into the tribalism in these parties, and again, you take the rhetoric and then you argue the surface points, which is essentially
surface points.
Because that's
exactly.
But that's what the media put out there, and that's what we discussed. So I mean, we're gonna have those conversations, and you all tacked on to that. We have this conversation, and again, essentially, for both sides, it's about power, right? And how to get it and how to distribute it. and how to control whatever they need to control to get whatever outcome they need to get out. Again, as far as like, you know, of course, to blanket all Republicans to be, you know, to be one set, it'll be an error because you have black Republicans who don't feel that way, or white Republicans, or whatever have you, and vice versa. Democrats again, but again, these are just party affiliations. Don't get confused. Like that's just a party. Like you know, you know,
Parties aren't that important.
Yeah, it's just you can be of any party and then vote for whoever you choose. You know, again,
I'm still talking less about groups.
yeah, but like the lady that you saw at the gun show, you know, it was more about tribalism. She just because she always voted Republican and she just mostly identified with it. Maybe 10 of her values line up with 10 of their values, but the rest she don't agree with because those 10 values are more
white women put Trump in office.
Yeah, they were one of the major groups to help him get into office. But
and non-voters.
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, but again, he reflects that of their culture. And the reason why he voted for Obama, because he could be young. Or Michelle Obama, you know, and some reason why black people voted for Obama is because of Michelle Obama. You know, she reminded me of that auntie, you know. So it's just that we identify with these individuals and their characteristics, and he just
their characteristics.
I know the military. I remember the first time because I was in Arizona, right? John McCain ran against Obama, right? I was sitting in the senior citizen home, and they literally they came like hitting us, like because they knew we was voting for Obama. All these college students coming in. But I say that to say, I had a coach that was going to vote for McCain, black coach at that. You feel me? Because of his ideology. He told me straight up. The minute they got Sarah Palin, I was done.
But why was he going for John McCain? Because of the military thing?
Yeah.
It aligns with his values. You get what I'm saying? You hear me? So it's just like, you know, like you said, like you can sway back and forth. Like a lot of times, like I don't mean to put T Will Fair, but head of Urban League, you know what I mean? You're a black Republican, and he gets stuff done for the community, but he's a Republican. Do we view him any different?
I don't have anything. Well, let me be clear. I don't have anything against Republicans these days. When I was younger, I did. I felt like they were the enemy and they're holding us back.
That's what you was taught from.
No, but like if you think about it, we can't progress because they keep blocking. Like half the things they trying to do is like they always talking about war, trade, money. We dying in here. That's why the Democrats need to fix what's inside, and then
you fall into the tribalism because at the end of the day, like I said, it takes bipartisanship to get a bill, get legislation period passed.
I have slight conservative issues. I have liberal issues. I mean viewpoints or whatever like that. I'm with both a little bit. Like I said, I don't have anything against them, but at the same time, don't you think they do block a lot of things from going forward? Come on.
What I would say is it depends on what you're into. So so like if you have a business or whatever have you, it might just work for you to be a Republican or support that because now the individual tax on the businesses right now is down to 20% from 35%. So
I won't think for self. See, that's one thing.
I'm just saying, like, this is some of the things that you will identify when you can say, okay, well, I can benefit from this, and then from that business, you can grow, employ other black people, and then, of course, grow your business in a community like this. So, and then it lessens your tax burden.
Okay.
You know? So, I'm just saying, like,
how do they benefit us outside of business?
Outside,
they don't care anymore.
Well, again, from
you can't run a business if they're killing you.
Yeah, I'm saying, but from the standpoint of, say if you was able to do that economic independence and your business is able to grow more than what it did before, you're employing people then this is a concept. I'm just saying this is a concept, it's not what I agree with. This concept, there's more people off the street because now you're giving jobs. You know, it's a snowball effect. So you were talking about abortion, right? They don't want women the rights to choose, like women should have the right to choose. And when they
I ain't say that. Yeah, India said that, but yeah.
Okay, well,
I ain't got nothing to do with abortion. Y'all going on, y'all do that, whatever y'all want to do with that.
It's just women's rights and women's choice, right?
Yeah. Your choice.
Yeah, it should be women's choice, and men or Republicans should be out of it. They should determine when it should stop. Like Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, he feels as though that an abortion at any stage shouldn't be allowed. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, because it was just meant to be. You know.
There's some situation, you gotta see circumstantial stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, he goes,
What I'm saying, dog.
he goes as far as that, but
Somebody can get raped.
You know what I mean?
No,
Exactly. That's a real situation.
He don't care about rape.
Yeah, it was like some of them.
But you gotta understand that the framework where he's coming from, he's saying that God ordained this to happen. You know what I'm saying? And then he says that the fetus itself is a human being and should have the same rights as any other individual.
Yeah.
So he's not saying that women should have the right to choose. He's just saying that fetus has a right, as the women have that right as well. So to kill that fetus, if you're killing that human being's rights. Not that I agree with him, not that I'm saying I agree with what he's saying, but this is that framework. See, we keep getting caught up in the tribalism. We just, once we hear that, we shut down. Like, we don't, anything, we shut down. I don't want to hear it. But understand where it's come from in the framework. Then we say, okay, well, how can we, now that I understand where it's coming from, now, okay, now how can we talk about it to where that if I am raped or is it incest or whatever the case may be, we don't prolong this pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? How can we get that point? But again, understanding that viewpoint, it helps a lot. And to understand the dynamic and how they operate and how they do things. And like I said, I gave an example with the business, example of the abortion, how they come to their viewpoints. Again, not saying they should agree with it, because again, Democrats, we can always give many examples of how they can help the community and things of that nature, what have you. So again, you gotta stop getting caught up into, okay, he's a Republican, I'm not voting for him, or the case may be.
No.
You know,
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you.
Because I don't even like, what is it? Bill Nelson. I don't care for him.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not about to vote for
Rick Scott. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, you better than Rick Scott.
So I would vote for him, but I wouldn't vote for him.
But then you gotta also understand that they're not. Sometimes they're not the only two that's running, because that's not. Because Andrew Gillum and DeSantis are not the only people running for government. You have people who are non-party affiliates that's running as well. So
that's sad.
Again, and we just because we have this big two-party system that it either exactly. So they they control that dynamic, and that's a power play as well. So we have to be aware of that as well.
And more important than not saying more important than Gillum, but somebody I feel like the Attorney General position is up. And that position is more powerful than the government. You know what I mean? In a way.
So explain to the people how the Attorney General could be more, or what do they, are they in control of?
Say it, you know, I don't want to.
Okay.
I'm trying to be PC today.
Alright, well, y'all look up Attorney General.
No, but the Attorney General,
you just know.
From my understanding, he got the power to sue the president. You know, if you know what I mean. So
There's some power now if you can do that.
Yeah. So he got a lot of power, man. He talk and you know, not to advocate. Well, I'm not advocating Sean Shaw, but I'm not getting paid. I'm just being real. But Sean Shaw, he said a lot of good stuff.
Sean Shaw, running for what?
Attorney General. And I think he's used to dealing with Republicans because he's out of Tampa. You know what I mean? And if you know anything about that I-4 corridor, you know, a lot of people think like South Florida, you know, we all us in Miami think that South Florida wins the election, but South Florida's blue, but that I-4 corridor is important. And yeah, man, and yeah. So the Attorney General is important. I just wanted to put that out there, man, because I know we hadn't been talking about it, but Attorney General is just as important, you know.
All right, so let's get deep into these candidates because we've been all over the place.
Let's get deep into some of these amendments too.
No.
Why?
No. All right, amendments to candidates. Which one? What time it is? We gotta go. Amendments next week. I'm gonna let you talk about another amendment if you want.
No, I'll talk about one in particular, and the one that's supposed to support me.
Okay, go ahead.
And that's Amendment 4.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Restoring the rights of felons. You know, a lot of these, and just to talk about the amendments and why the amendments are important. The Constitutional Revision Commission is convened every 20 years. Some of them are appointed by the senators, some people are appointed by the governor, and some people are appointed by some other folk, right? And these people come together and amend the Constitution. That's what the amendment is. So, and they make revisions that revise the Constitution and say, you know, so when things like Rick Scott, when we watched the debate the other day, and Andrew Gillum talked about high-speed rail, and that how Rick Scott denied high-speed rail. That was supposed to be it's unconstitutional for him to do that, deny it from the federal government, from my understanding. from what I was told. So it's a lot of different things, you know, that's out there. But the main thing for me is Amendment 4, man. Yes,
Yeah, that's the most
Restore the
important.
rights of felons and 1.4 billion.
I mean, well,
Yeah.
it's everything's important, but I don't know what's more important than that.
It's a lot of these other amendments are a lot of like mixed bags. So
Yeah, they
like
are.
Amendment 11, for example, it's a 9. I think it's 9 that bans like offshore drilling, right? But then they also trying to ban vaping in public spaces. So it's like, all right, I gotta pick and choose between vaping and offshore drilling. Like, how ethical is that? Like, of course I don't want you to drill offline, like offshore. Like, of course.
All right, while you're here,
But go ahead.
you feel that the black community should be on the same page with saying what to Amendment?
Amendment 4, man.
We know we saying yes to Amendment 4.
I think like everybody gotta make it, like for instance, if you don't smoke, vaping don't bother you. Essentially, like I'm one of the people that you have to do things. I'm a big advocate on understanding the issues at stake and how they appeal to you. You feel me? Because I can sit up here and say, oh, you know, I'm not for Amendment 9 at all. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I understand. Some people who vape and they don't want to do that prohibited in public spaces. They're like, I want to smoke.
I may not even like offshore drilling, so your vapes might have to go.
You get what I'm saying? So everybody is to each his own. It's over words, yeah.
All right, and do we care about the Greyhound dogs? Amendment 3. Do we care about the Greyhound dogs racing and how they get mistreated? I don't want dogs to get mistreated, but don't nobody care about what we saying in Amendment 3. What you say now too? What the black community do? What you think about Amendment 3 with the Greyhound racing? Should they ban it or should they not?
I mean, again, it's where you fall. I mean, if you're a dog lover and you feel
I'm a dog lover.
You feel that is abuse, or that's harsh treatment of animals, then
they get beaten.
Well, I mean, just like the training that
they're forced to do something.
Yeah, they like they like train like they are animals. I was gonna say they train like
yeah.
I mean, they train in a way where they I mean, if you're a dog lover, you say, hey, they shouldn't be treated like that. They should treat them more, humane or whatever the case may be. That may be an inhumane thing to do. Then you'll vote against that. Or if you're in for gambling, that's another method of gambling to increase your resources or money. Then that's something you support. So,
all right. Are you gonna be back next week?
That's what I'm out of time.
You out of time?
Yeah.
Booked and busy. All right. Now, okay. So Andrew Gillum and Ron DeSantis. Okay, Andrew. What do we like about him?
The fact that everything he said he wants to do, he's already tried it at least once.
That's excellent.
And the fact that he already went against the NRA and won. There's a lot of things, like I when it comes to a lot of issues, I'm one of the people like, what have you done while you were in the position you was in? Bernie talked a lot. How many bills he passed? You know what I mean?
Hold on, now you talk about Bernie.
You know what I mean? I was all for Bernie, but how many bills he passed? But Andrew Gillum has already created he said he believes in science. He's already created a tech ecosystem mentality. Things that he said he was going to do and he has already done. I think I would more so run with him because he's already done it. He can tell me how he plans to do it on a bigger scale,
I heard somebody about to say something on the left. No.
It was pretty much about action.
Yeah.
Well, of course I know that he's a rattler. Yeah, he's a family rattler, and he's black. And also, he has a black wife.
That's important.
Black
That's
love.
really important.
He's just good representation, like LeBron. You know what I'm saying? LeBron in basketball. But back to Andrew Gillum. Yeah, he's just a good representation, positive representation for young black males. And very knowledgeable of what he tends to talk about. You had something you wanted to add?
And I'm one of the people, it's like church, right? I'm not really one of those church folks, but the preachers I tend to like are more people who teach, right? Rather than like fire and brimstone, tell you what I did wrong and all that. So the thing about Gillum, what I've liked over the course of his run is that he's more into educating us on the process and including us in the process because he knows that we don't really fully understand the process.
He do know. He don't.
So for me, I think somebody who's willing to let you in on the process and educate you on the process lets you know like it's going to be more of a democratic process, you know, with the way he runs it or the way he governs. He's going to be more transparent. You know, we talk about Rick Scott, like biggest medical fraud in history. You know what I mean? And you know, but he runs for Senate and nobody's saying nothing. You know, and he keeps getting reelected. So actions louder than words, but the main thing for me is that the fact that he educates. It came down to the Avance Ensemble was like a Haitian American group, and did a debate initial debate like during the primaries, and he educated us on like, look, man, the government is important, but I'm gonna educate you on how you can get involved. There's a lot of committees that we can be appointed to, the things that we can do. So that's the main thing for me is that, like I said, you know, are you willing to educate me on the process and include me in the process? So
Yeah, so that brother from the hill. DeSantis, backed by Trump. Why does he even have a following if he being backed by Trump?
Because we live in Florida.
So what? That's all of Central and North Florida's doing, and South Florida Cubans.
And it's not even that. It's just like.
Oh, I thought you could speak for them.
I just think with Ron DeSantis, I really don't know too much to really speak on him.
He hasn't done much.
But he hasn't. It's nothing I can say. I can point out and say this is what he's done. You get what I mean?
Florida,
and he hasn't tried to educate me. So.
I don't think he cares to do so. Florida has been ran by Republicans for about 20 years. Andrew would be breaking that. He would also be the first black governor if he was to be governor. So yeah, all of those records need to be broken. Now Andrew Gillum, he wants to expand health care coverage, while Ron DeSantis has not released a proposal on his platform on medical. You heard anything?
As far as his platform on healthcare, he'll probably just take up what we saw, anticipate. He'll probably just take up the current situation that we have in Florida.
Well, nothing current like Rick Scott.
So Rick Scott, and I want to add this. You know, he denied federal funds to subsidize the cost of health care, right? It was like 18. I want to say 18 billion. Something like that.
Not only him, other states have.
It was other states. It was a part of Medicaid expense, but he was one of them.
So I mean, and it was for partisan reasons. More so just to show that they can sustain without the federal government, and also to stick it to Obama at that time. And that especially the training that you talked about as well.
They hated him so much. Man, just went
back. Saw that. Again, but also understanding federalism and how it works, to where that when the federal government does disperse money to states, there typically are strings attached.
Yeah,
and
of course.
Some states feel as though that they want money without strings attached.
Yeah.
So and that's that too. You can't tell me what to do, but I want the money. Approach to that's
I've been reading up on that.
That's their framework and their mindset of how that money comes into, not just partisan, but for the most part we can. I could to talk objectively about that. It won't be fair because it has been partisan.
Ron DeSantis,
I want to say one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
About was it education? No, affordable housing. The Sandowski Fund. I'm just putting this stuff out there. It's not to say like one person, next person, but we've been siphoning that fund, that Sandowski Fund, which subsidizes the cost of affordable housing to an extent, and to balance the budget, from what I've been told, what I've been looking at. So that's something we gotta hold our politicians accountable and say, like, look, affordable housing is a big issue, right? And if this is subsidized in some type of way, we need to look at that for us, because for us that's a big issue. Affordable housing is a big issue, especially in Miami. Like, I can't speak for anywhere else, but Miami, that's a big issue. So no further.
All right, now Ron DeSantis wanted this. He likes the stand your ground law, exactly how it's written. While Andrew Gillum wants the stand your ground law completely repealed. What y'all think about that? Do y'all like the stand your ground law? Is it great? No, I want to know.
Well, I won't talk from like if I like it or I dislike it, things of that nature. Okay, so if we look at self-defense and how they identify it, what it tends to be, I think for the most part, everybody would agree with some form of self-defense.
Yeah.
If you actually read the statute, as far as when standing ground and
Initially
how it's worded, what they have, it'll say something to the degree where, of course, if you feel threatened in that moment, you can defend yourself, and it adds sentences where it's saying that if you feel that that individual may cause harm to anyone else, you can actually pursue that individual and try to, apprehend that person so they won't cause harm. So in that surface with those words, of course you would definitely want to protect innocent people if you feel as though this individual will cause harm. So again, the way I have worded, most people would agree. But again, we see the effects of,
It seems to only protect certain kinds.
Exactly. So when we see, when it goes into effect, or when we see the results of that, it typically tends to affect certain groups of people. So again, the law itself, on surface, it should benefit both. I mean, because no one would disagree with how it's written, but it's how it's
enforced.
Who's mostly enforced against. So that's where it goes hand in hand. So do I like it? It's in general. Again, if it wasn't in a racist society and the system wasn't what it was, then yes, I would agree with it. But because the system is the way it is, and people can use their biases it can be protected under this power of the law enforcement or what have you, then no, it's not working correctly. But again, what is that? How do we change that? That's something that we have to think through.
Address,
what I'm saying? So.
Okay, so Florida is, Florida is, I think, I forgot the source, child, that's sad. But anyway, reputable one. Florida is the most affected by global warming.
True.
So, with that being said, our next governor needs to care about what's going on with our state with the red tide, algae, whatever you want to call it.
Algae bloom.
What else? The sea level rising.
And not only that, we can talk about something that affects us here in Liberty City. Miami Gardens, but affects us in urban areas, right? In a urban core. Something that my girl, my best friend, Valencia Gunda, who I roll with a lot of times, she's been working, advocating on behalf of climate change, and she another rapper, and she has a degree in like agribusiness or something like that. But so the thing what we always knew in the Beans growing up in the city was that we stayed on good land, and the hurricane wasn't going to affect us, right? So yeah, that's something that's true, right? Coconut Grove, I think, sits at like 16 feet above sea level. Liberty City sits at like Poke Bean Project.
I've seen you say that on Facebook before.
Yeah, 12 feet. So the climate gentrification is real, and the fact that the beach is underwater, and that's why they put tunnels and all those stuff there. And we have to be mindful that everybody who's selling beach like Val Harbor, they going more inland. Aventura is going up. All these prices going up, so it's affecting our prices, which is why affordable housing is going up for us. So climate change. Like I said, it all depends on who you are as a person and what affects you. Now, if you're a person that's making money and you can afford that, yeah. But you know what I'm saying, you spending less than 30% of your annual modified income.
But not even just that. Right. Let's just talk about Florida, like how we don't fall parks and beaches and stuff. Yeah. Can't be right here telling kids they can't go.
Like, let's talk about the beach. Like, we know that climate change is real because if you look at Miami Beach, if anybody been to Miami Beach in the last 5 years and you've seen it,
right.
It just like you go in that water right now, you're gonna drop. You feel me? If you go to the beach. And once you get off that and that water hit, you gonna drop, you gonna feel it. Like, oh, we ain't got a lot of sand up under here. This is dry. Like, you feel me? You gotta know how to swim. You know what I mean? So,
all right,
it's real.
Andrew has plans of Andrew Gillum has plans of working with experts, scientists, and what they say about research as far as how to deal with these issues. Versus Ron DeSantis, he seemed to not really want to fund so much into science, from what I looked into.
And FPNL wants to go up.
And Andrew Gillum want to look at, he wants to push towards solely using renewable energy and solar panels and stuff. So things like that to save us money and it'll help our environment. We have to look out for Florida or the tourists.
It'll
Tourists
save
is
us
gonna
money
go
in the long run, I believe, to an extent, but you still gotta spend money.
to get it, but hey,
So, you know what I mean? And
we gotta start some
with
of
energy,
these changes.
but I'll say this about FPNL, they've been leaking radioactive material in the ocean for a while. And it has not been no enforcement, right?
No, I mean, that has happened in the past. They came on a lot of scrutiny a couple years back about that, and they're supposed to be cleaning it up and things of that nature. But anytime you have one of those power plants out there, it's always a potential to go into our water system.
I'm sorry, I know we going over.
Yeah, I'm trying to get through it too, man. We supposed to be this
I just want to drop these facts on them, man, you know?
All right, wait now. Okay, now another thing. So Andrew Gillum, he wants stricter gun control laws and a ban on sales of assault weapons. Why do we even have military style weapons out here though? Like I know that's cool to y'all, but come on now.
Here's my issue. All right, fully automatic weapons have been banned since #94. So that means every gun is a semi-automatic weapon. Outside of a bolt action, Mac 11, Mac 10, something that gonna spit. You know what I'm saying? So essentially, we're talking about semi-automatic weapons. We can talk about, so what is the difference between, other than how fast you can pull that trigger? What's the difference?
I don't think regular civilians or even police for that matter, unless they like swat or something, like I don't think regular civilians should have guns that shooting out multiple, like just so fast like that, like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like literally, it's all in the trigger pull. It's not, like I said, fully automatic weapon. You pull it one time, it's gonna go. Semi-automatic means you gotta keep pulling it, one shot, one pull, one shot. So it's the same thing with an AR. An AR and an AR and a Glock 19. What's the difference between the two? You feel me?
All right.
How fast you can pull the trigger.
Y'all don't get me started because I already feel like we shouldn't even have guns. We should
But
have.
I understand.
We should have. What is that? What kind of bullets?
Rubber bullets?
Rubber bullets. We should have rubber bullets. I bet it stop you. You just don't die, and that's it.
But if the other person got no bullets,
Republicans not going for it.
you stop.
No, police should be the only ones with real bullets. And maybe not even them. Maybe rubber bullets, period. Like, in just a certain level, get real bullets. But I've been thinking this since I've been in middle school.
I just think it's a tricky situation.
It ain't
given
nothing
the fact
tricky.
that
We need to stop killing each other with guns.
it's a one trigger pull, one shot. Fully automatic, one shot. Yeah, you just pull it once and it's gonna go. If that's been banned, I don't understand. Like me personally, I'm not a gun owner, so I don't even, I don't keep carry fire on me, so I don't have that pressure. But it's just like when I look at the differences in it, I'm like, what's the difference between it? Like I said, the AR-15 and the Glock 19.
Well, there need to be stricter gun laws.
So how are we gonna make it more strict? Like, are we gonna say, okay, people with mental illnesses or people who have been deemed with mental illness, so we can go with like different parameters like that? Like,
I think a certain level, a certain kind of mental illness, like maybe.
But you can't.
Like levels,
you
like
can't.
that.
You can't. You can't. If it's mental illness, like, you know what I'm saying? And then that's subjective because everybody doesn't get treatment. You don't get diagnosed unless you get Baker.
But wait. Yeah. But that's why we bring the mental health into the school so that folks are. But I don't want
But
no
then you gonna have, that's the same thing with ADHD.
But then you
kids
got
ain't
kids, I
ADHD.
think these kids out here bringing these guns.
They just kids take learners.
Just going through something.
Listen, we need stricter gun laws, period. It's too loose. It's just too loose.
I agree to this, but that's something that's been.
All right, how about this? You got into a situation involving a gun before in life. Obviously, you shouldn't have a gun. And that's it for you. Alright, maybe.
And black folk, I don't know too many people buying,
What? Folks got guns.
I know they got guns. Some people got illegal guns. Most, a lot of people got illegal guns.
Illegal
but
and illegal.
it's illegal guns. So I mean, if we can stop.
Welcome to Dade County.
Yeah. So my thing on guns, right? And we say strict the gun laws. If there's a way to restrict the sale of illegal guns and take those illegal guns off the street, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because that's the belly of the beast. You know what I mean? So.
Why can like 12-year-olds and stuff play at the gun range? What's that about? You know when you see somebody little, some little white
if they there with an adult, but that's the thing.
Teaching them early.
Okay, so they're taught to how to use the gun, how to respect the gun, right? We pick up the gun, we gonna grab it, we going for some other reasons. And I'm not saying that everybody does it, but I got some people who I grew up with that they had guns in their house, but they were taught to respect that gun. So it goes back to education again. You know what I mean? Like with me. So I don't know. Like that's one thing. Like in Trump's America, I'm like, yeah, I did the course for my gun license. I just ain't followed through. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like that's something that I've been hung on. Because I'm not one of those violent people. Like I need a gun everywhere I go. I don't have pressure like that.
We in Miami, we need to talk a little bit about immigration. So Ron DeSantis pretty much want to, punish sanctuary cities.
Sanctuary cities?
Yes, cities that, really, first of all, it's supposed to be some kind of controversy on whether Florida even have sanctuary cities per se. If they do, it'll be West Palm Beach and like two of them, like laculture. I don't even know if I'm saying that city right. I just know I be passing it sometimes. But anyway, and there's like controversy because there's never been any clarity on exactly what is a sanctuary city, what deems it or whatever like that. But California is a sanctuary state, and when you consider yourself a sanctuary anything, Trump has promised to withhold money, any funding for your state or city like that. And Ron DeSantis plans to be continue that whole concept. Versus, Andrew Gillum, he's not with this whole thing with immigrants. Isn't he lovely? But anyway,
I want to let him say something first before I say it. I've been saying a lot, so.
I feel like he holding his tongue.
Oh, no, it's a great conversation. We having a great conversation. Again, sanctuary city, you have that protection of immigrants or people who are considered to be illegal, so to speak. That can be debated, that terminology, whatever have you, but they'll have the protections of not having to be pursued under the law as far as be considered illegal or get arrested or anything like that. And if you're not a sanctuary city, then of course you are subject to being detained, and then the federal government can't come in and come get you and put you through the system or the case may be and send you back to wherever you quote unquote came from. Again, so that's the difference between that. And it's whether that entity wants to enforce it. And as far as the federal dollars that come in, it's most pertaining to what's talking about federal dollars when it comes to law enforcement.
Yeah.
So governments do want that money because then that increases pay for the police officers, sheriffs, and give them more toys to play with as far as guns and weaponry, what have you. And then they'll pay for the housing of those individuals, so they get money on top of that, plus additional hours. So there's money involved with that when they do consider themselves wanting to align with Trump in the sense of not being a sanctuary city. So you'll see that rhetoric there. But again, who's the immigrant, what's the immigrant, and the founding of this nation, this could be debated about how we approach that.
Do y'all agree with how Trump feels how Trump is handling it?
The way this country has been built, it was a melting pot. The first people who flee where they were from, and came over here.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all how we learned in elementary, middle school. America's a melting pot. So why are we trying to change the dynamic?
Well, it was a salad bowl at first, and then it grew into a melting pot.
Why are we trying to ignore it? And on my issue with going back to what he said about immigration, what I read was that it was more about, especially in Miami, for something I read. I know it was an article that was talking about how the housing inmates are going back to the money, and they were the federal government would give them back. Let's say it cost them $150,000 to government would only give them back like 180 to 100,000. So it's just like, I'm housing this person and it's costing me money, like when I could just release them and keep my money. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, I don't know. Like, and then another thing, when we talk about trade, and you talk about commerce, I mean, like, we're the port to, the Caribbean. So, it's like, why? What are you trying to do? Like,
I don't think these kids should be separated.
I don't think they should be separated.
Period. I just can't imagine.
I think it could be done in a better way that could be enforced better.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Republicans, Democrats, and everybody alike, or not
But
alike,
at the same time,
we all agree. I mean, a lot of us agree that we don't know exactly how, but we know this is wrong. This don't need to be it. It's not it. It's just not it.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. And let's go back to the drawing board and figure it out. Because imagine if we're all 6 or younger.
And let's just go back to what Trump said, right? I didn't like the bias in the fact that, the whole shithole country comment, And,
yeah.
And my thing is, if we're gonna let one set of people in, we must let everybody in.
I never understood that.
I don't agree with that whole rhetoric about like who's illegal, who's not, like, who we should let in because they're more this, that, and the third. Like, we ain't complaining about the Russians or the French that's on the beach, or the Italians that came over here, or the Czech Republic. We ain't talking about none of these groups.
Yeah.
That's been, you know what I'm saying?
They feel like a benefit from it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We like all these South Americans coming here and buying up all this property. They ain't complaining. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just think like if we drop the bias on it and we say like strictly like across the board, like look, we're at capacity or something like that in order for us to be where we need to be. If it's some type of excuse of that nature, but like I said, in the beginning of this country, it was a melting pot, bro. Like so. We were brought here, of course, but if I in my heart, but I know a lot of people were already here. A lot of us were already here as well. So and Christopher Columbus didn't find America. He was found at shore, off a little bit offshore, lost. You know what I mean? So
who is that over there? They found him. All right. Well, another thing I wanted to mention real quick is that also. Ron DeSantis support bills to allow, he has supported bills that allow concealed weapons permit holders to carry guns openly in public and on college campuses. So, I mean, if y'all want to support a guy that's with stuff like that.
I was in Arizona with open carry, and it was as bad as it sounds. It really wasn't that bad.
No, it's bad.
Like, I was in Arizona and I never felt like, okay, a white man gonna just shoot me.
And you was in Arizona?
I was in Arizona.
Arizona?
Open carry state, like, and just to say that Sheriff Joe Arpaio, yes, used to go through what do you call it? Little Guatemala or something like that. And literally he would ride with tanks to go pick up immigrants. So like, that's why I have a strong position against that, because I just don't agree with that. You know what I mean? Or, I know that when we was just Miami was going after Haitians. You know what I mean? And they was killing them by the dozen. There wasn't no cases that still haven't been solved. Police involved murders.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, I can go on and on about some of this stuff, but
I know that's why we still here, man.
I know, man. That's why I'm trying to shut up and just leave. Y'all give me some more energy, I'll shut up.
Listen, look, because everybody like, wrap it up, man. All right, now, before we go on, okay, now, we're going to ask a mother over here, because, India done left me. We're like outnumbered on the couch. Okay.
She had to get content, man. She's trying to look out in other ways.
You have a daughter, a beautiful daughter at that. We see pictures of her online. Is she how old is she?
She's 5.
She's 5. Kindergarten yet or?
No, she's
pre-K.
She's still pre-K.
Okay. Do you pre-K? Do you have her in a charter school, or do you plan to have her go to a charter school or a public school?
I plan to put her in a charter school.
And why is that? Do you have a reason, or?
Well,
you heard people do that? What?
No, it's me and her father's personal opinion because how the generation and everything has changed. There's just so much going on, but not to say things can't happen.
So much going on in public school?
Yes, but not to say things can't happen in the charter school as well, but it just, when I look around and I see things, like, I've worked in the school system myself for a little bit, I was a teacher's aide, but you see things around and I don't feel like,
System
per se,
progression.
I don't feel like the staff and everything has changed, and the staff isn't what it used to be before. Like, back when I was in school, you got talkings from some teachers, depending on what it is. Now you can't say certain things to kids, if you threatening them, you saying a cuss word, or it's just too much involved, and I'm trying to get her and.
So why would charter school, why did you hear or why did you learn of charter school being better?
More so because, how can I put it? More so because when I think of a charter school, like, okay, first thing, like, I want her to go to Beacon Hill. I'll put it that way. I want her to go.
And
Yeah, I like Beacon Hill.
my niece is there.
I think the structure and reading about it and everything is for every kid I do see coming out of it with their parents. They like it. Parents are more involved. You got to do community service. You know, like, what's it called?
Yeah, so we have to volunteer, like, we're
Yeah, volunteer hours,
voluntold,
yeah.
we have a certain amount of hours that we have to fulfill if our child goes to school, where
That's
myself
good.
or his father has to, like, volunteer.
And that's in order for your child to go there free?
To continue, no, not
But they
free,
get
it's private
scholarships,
school.
though. You
They
can't
get
go.
scholarship.
But that's dope, that adds to parent
Yeah, the
participation.
participation.
And in public school, I guess you can't enforce that, but one of the main issues with public school is PTA.
Yeah, a lot of parents
So,
don't come.
ESAC, so.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay,
parents don't come.
so, this is my department, because I do have a 5-year-old, and he is in kindergarten, and he does go to Beacon Hill.
5-year-olds
So-
rule.
So I definitely know about this, and the difference between the public schools and, because my brother's 16, so he goes to public school, so it's not like I don't know. And my son is, on the first day of school, I can walk my child into class, I can contact the teachers. In public school, they're stopping you at the gate. So imagine your 5-year-old
Some of
child,
them.
most of them, because they cannot allow the parents in, because, you know,
Y'all are
it's different.
I didn't hear it.
As a teacher.
Yeah, no,
Leave
I
me
understand. We can be a lot, and it is for the children's safety. But at 5 years old, this is the first time your child is
It's a different
actually
setting.
going into school. Their older kids is completely different. When they're in daycare, all the kids are the same age, equal footing. But now there's kids, those same kids we were talking about, 11 and 12, that were waiting in the bathroom. That's elementary school. So imagine sending your 5-year-old into that environment. You're not allowed to come in. So you don't know what's going on. You can't see it. It's just a different dynamic. Nothing against charter schools, but even for charter schools too, I feel like it's a numbers game. When it comes to charter
I need to
schools.
look more into charter schools. I learned
feel like
about
it's a numbers
them
game.
in my training, but I need to look into it because I don't think it's good. I don't like it.
I don't either. I think it's a numbers game.
What?
I feel like
Charter
it's a
school, I don't
numbers
like
game.
it.
I mean,
Nothing
Not
needs to
saying
knock out
ethically-
public school.
not saying, I just think that, you know, just like, it's things like, to each his own, right? So it's a thing of, okay, if I can't get, like, the main thing with teachers is teachers need that reinforcement, right, from the parent.
Money.
Y'all need money, of course, but what makes your job easier is having that parent also in the classroom. So if the charter school is now making that, that's something that, as a teacher, it will benefit you, right?
Yeah,
You feel me?
but,
You get what I'm saying?
Tyrone, that he won't.
But not
Or she.
Stacy,
So,
who's super organized at 5 years old.
No,
And-
Stacy too. She talked too much. She won't stop talking because she's so smart.
But you get where I'm coming from? You can start naming, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like it's like for what you're saying, like if you can go in and a parent can be more involved, then we need to fix something in the public. That's why I talk about accountability and enforcement. Like we don't have parents, like I swear, I be in public Miami-Dade public schools meetings, and it'd be like 0 parents there. It'd be like
And sometimes parents don't care either. They
And the parents don't
what the
care.
kids do.
My mom was in PTA, ESAC. the
What
whole
about
nine.
the parents that are too busy? They work in 2 jobs. Okay, y'all gotta relax and like.
But you can have a grandma or a stepdad.
Sometimes
or,
they don't.
You know,
I
Or
get
sometimes
that.
they working hard just as well. Grandma's still in the
You're right,
bathroom
man.
at the. What'd you say?
So people can hear you, man. I want to make sure people hear you.
Oh.
Valid points.
Yeah, but grandma might be working in the bathroom late night,
I get
and
it.
But how many
Johnny
notices you
doing
gotta
his own
send for
homework
them
and
not
don't
to
know.
I get
don't
it.
know
But
what
if
to
you
do.
sit, like for instance, and I'm a little bit outside because I'm in the after school program, but if you see a problem, Like I remember going to a parent and saying like, look, your child is not, he can't read, like literally can't read, like nothing. Can you spend some time with him to read? And she was like, nah, I ain't got time for that.
All right.
So it's like, am I going to contribute to my son's failure? Or am I going to contribute to their success? Like, what do I want?
Some parents start to feel like, oh no, this pointless. He ain't gonna get it. And not saying that's a good idea to have, but they may really feel like they don't have time. And shoot, what you want me to blame it on their significant other that's not stepping it up? That's why
I mean, there's a lot of
they don't
different
have
factors.
time. But anyway,
It's a lot of different
we
factors.
ain't gonna go there, child.
Yeah, it's a lot of, and I say that you got a lot of single mothers. You got a lot of single mothers, but there's somebody. And
See, I ain't even say single mama. See,
I'm gonna say it because I
Y'all
know.
do.
I'm not gonna sit up there and act like it ain't the case,
And
but I know it's
single
single fathers
fathers.
there too. So, you know, it's single parents.
Ain't no
You can say
single
single
fathers.
parents.
But there's some single parents that do everything now.
Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
take the time out to put the effort.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. So it's like, do we still give them an excuse? Like,
I think when it comes to education, regardless of if it's public school, private
no, get
school,
up better.
whatever it is, that the parents or someone has to be involved for it to work. It just doesn't matter. There needs to be someone, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's at the youth center, your football coach, like someone needs to be involved when it comes to education. Because
Exactly.
what you get at school, and I'll give you an example. My son, he's 5 and he reads on a second grade grading level. He tested to get into Nova. Nova is $20,000 a year. I'm not paying $20,000 a year for a 5-year-old. That's college tuition money. So I kept him at Beacon Hill, and they just did their testing, so they did the baseline testing. Second grade reading level, he's 5. So at this point, I just really want to just stress to people, because a lot of people always ask me, like, how do you do it all? How do you do it all? I do it by myself, but I do get help. I get help from school. Like, they'll tell me, they'll be like, listen, what's going on at home? He came to school like this. What happened? I've had a teacher tell me before, stop yelling at him before you drop him off, because when you do that, he shuts down all day. So it takes a whole village.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect, the teachers aren't perfect, the parents, we're all not perfect, but if we're all trying to work together for the children, for the youth, it works. And again, me by myself, not that I have like extra money, not that I have any of these wonderful things. I'm an entrepreneur, I work for myself. Some weeks I make a lot of money. It's been like 3 weeks I didn't get $1. You know what I mean? So I really have to really budget and do it alone. So when people always say like, oh, the single parents don't have time, you make time for what you want to make time for. Because I bet your Facebook is updated.
What
I
if-
bet you look.
what if you know how-
You know what I'm saying? You got time for that.
What if also
Instagram popping.
you make time and you also are knowledgeable of the content? Some parents don't.
And I'm not gonna lie, he bought home some homework the other day that had me like.
But wait, because we having a real,
The
we
way
having
y'all
a real,
teaching math nowadays, oh my God. I'm like, what?
hold on y'all, we having a real
This is
parental education
arithmetic.
moment. We wanna let our guests who can help us out talk politics with us, Abdul Sharif, we wanna let him go.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
coming.
We
Appreciate you,
appreciate it.
And you need to come back through now.
Definitely will schedule something.
All right, take care. All right, so yeah, back. Yeah, you can go.
No, exit state. Go that way. You won't be in the camera that much. Yeah, there you go. You good. You good. You can make a quick
All right,
exit.
thanks, Brad. All right. So yeah, back to y'all. So yeah, sometimes parents don't know.
And they're
There's tutors,
Yeah.
there's, shoot, I got a million friends that teach.
I guess I'm gonna just slide down, you know?
I think it's just
Yeah,
accountability
cozy,
though,
comfortable.
because even if we don't know, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, you bring that homework home sometimes, and I'm like, I'm on Google. My brother's 16. I'm like, what kind of math is this? Like, what is this? You know what I mean? So it's just being accountable. It's for me to actually really be like, I don't know how to do this, to ask for help, and I think that's where the issue is. I don't think any parent specifically sits there and say, you know what? I want my kid to fail. I'm just gonna send him to school because law requires me, and that's it. But I really think it's the acceptance.
You got some.
I want to believe.
No,
Please
we
let
want to
me
be. Go ahead. I want to be optimistic, but
I want to be.
but it's a
But
couple
that's
who
few.
really.
That's a few. But
It's a
there
few.
are
It's a few.
parents that would like for their kids to achieve, and they believe that the teachers should be providing all of these things. And I understand just being. And you know what made me understand that you guys really have it hard? They're requiring me to be in the classroom because it's different. They coloring. Like I'm like, like he's 4. Like they
See,
color and shade.
Public
But
school,
we
we can't make you come in the classroom. I don't even want you in
You
the
see how they
classroom.
interact?
You have 12 kids, 12 different personalities. He's wearing the same clothes
In
as
charter school,
yesterday.
just 12, yeah.
And just for
All
kids,
kinds of
that
stuff.
all
I'm like,
adds, that
12,
all is a factor, you know what I mean?
What
Yeah.
a beauty, 12.
My son's kindergarten class
I
has
used to
9 kids
20
in it.
anything.
9 kids in it. And then I have friends that have children the same age, and they had to get tutoring for their kids. And I'm like, what tutoring do they need at 5?
Yeah.
But again, too many kids in the classroom. So there's a lot of factors that go into it.
We gotta really research. We really need to look into charter schools because I don't know, something fishy. I don't
It was
like
a no for
No,
me.
I
don't like it.
No,
I don't know why.
I don't like the fact that we got certain school board members, you know, who are board members of the charter school.
Yes, yes.
I think
yes.
it's more of an ethics issue for me.
Yeah.
That a lot of, you know, people who have influence in the community also have influence in your child's, you know, future. You know, and they're making policies behind it.
It's almost like grooming your children.
Yeah.
They groom your children.
Exactly.
And I want to be active in my son's upbringing. Like what he wants to be. I don't want to groom him and limit him to like these are the only resources that you have and that's it. So I like, and I'm big on enrichment. And I understand that, you know, it costs money and stuff like that, but having a kid, I started to do a lot of research, and there are a lot of free programs out there
Yep.
available, even now.
Yep.
And I just want to give my last little testimony, and I'll leave you guys alone. I live in Hollywood, right?
Dope.
My son, he plays football for Little Haiti Patriots. Let me
Dope.
tell you how he ended up all the way over there. My trainer was like, listen, my friend, he's the commissioner of this park, they're going to shut it down, we need kids. I'm like, say no more. I'm bringing my son. I'm posting like, what y'all need?
Dope.
We
I didn't know that.
practiced Monday. We practiced Monday. Our first game was Thursday. We lost every game this season. Those kids, like I love them like they're my own. Like the stories, the things I see, like. And for me, it's like this is a free program. We didn't charge anyone anything. And as long as he's commissioner, we're not charging for Super Pee-wee. So 4 and 5-year-olds, we're not charging for it. We
Shout out
also
my
have a
dog,
youth
Quay.
center. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on the foundation with him that we just started. So
Yeah,
definitely
dope.
Quayvon. He was gonna come tonight, but I
Shout
got
out my
back to him
dog
too
Quay,
late.
man.
But definitely, you know, we are doing things for those kids in that community. And it's not my community, but it matters to me. Why? Because everybody in that community looks like me. Everybody in that community looks like my son. So now it's my community. So there are programs available. And I kind of want to be more active with that now that I have a kid because just going there every day. And it's out of my way. I live across the street from PPO. I can pay my money. He can go to PPO. They're going to win. He going to get a fly uniform. No, but we're going to go here. We're going to go to the center. We're going to do homework with the kids. We're going to do everything. So I just want to just say that there are options. Enrichment is important because we want to raise well-rounded children. It's not just
That's
about the
very
sport.
important.
Because
And they can be raised from
They
public
can.
school.
they can't be raised from public school.
I am a
public
good product of public
I am a
school.
product of public school
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I definitely am. But I'm just really, really active when it comes to my son's education because I don't want to leave it on a teacher. Luckily, he only has 9 kids in his class, but if he goes to public school, if I fall on hard time, he going to public school.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? It's gonna be 30 of you guys, and you gotta hold your own. So I'm just
Yeah.
preparing him because I don't know where life is gonna take me. I can afford it now. I may not be able to always afford it.
Mother of the year,
Thank
indeed.
you, guys.
I know for me, you know, I went to public school, you know what I mean? My mom kept me involved, like, in every type of program possible. I was in, like, 2 basketball teams, hence the reason I played with Fox. And I was playing for Liberty City and Cagney Park, you know what I mean?
Goggles.
Yeah, way
still
back.
have
She's trying to out me, but yeah, I'm blind in the motherfucker. I ain't got no shame in my shit.
Chicks
Everybody
still
know-
was digging them though.
Yeah, you know.
Goggles.
Yeah, cause I was shooting threes, but I was a young step out here, you feel me? You know, wetting them shit. You gotta say it like this over. Wet. Yeah, so, you know, yeah, man.
The program's important.
The program's important.
All right, God, read guys. All right, listen. All right, I brought that up because Ron DeSantis, he is for school choice policies that benefit charter and private schools. And he has something called the 80% rule, where he believes taking $4, like let's say 4 out of $5, out of $5, take $4 out to go towards the classroom and take from administrative costs. While Gillum, on the other hand, you know, he's all about paying the teachers. Like, because he knows you pay us, we come in there happy, and remember our passion for teaching, you know, then we really gonna rock your world. Like, really gonna have your child, like, really rock it. So it's all about what you think, you know, is important. Classroom, I mean, I don't know.
Let's think about how we raised FCAT. Were we taught curriculum or were we taught to a test?
Test.
You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And that's what I think like is one of the main things in public school. We taught to these tests. We not taught a curriculum.
Yeah.
But
What is charter school doing?
But
over
even
there?
the charter schools, because he got it, so let me tell you, elementary school was like college for us at my house, okay? I went everywhere. He got into the charter school of excellence in Davie, right? I go to the tour. So I'm at the tour, okay, I'm always the only single mom, like I'm used to it. So I'm there, we at the tour, so we get to the playground, right? So I'm like, okay, all right, because my kid's like book smart, so enrichment is a thing for me. Get to the playground. She goes, yeah, we give them 30 minutes a day, but they can't, like, they can play basketball, like the coach will show them what to do with the ball, but they can't play with each other. I said, what?
What type of
She's
shit is that?
This is what I'm saying. They run it so militant, right? And when you, in my beliefs, now, I'm not stating facts or anything, this is just my own personal opinion. When you raise children like militant like that, you like groom them for a certain level of expectance. Like you can't think for yourself. Like this is, they don't question it.
Social education
They
is
do.
just as important.
And that's what a lot of the charter schools are doing, that they really just groom the kids to be good students. They also do this backward thing that I don't like. They make them dress up in like suits and ties and stuff like that.
Right.
They prep them, right? But listen, when you go to Google and all those things, what the CEO got on? What is
T-shirts.
Tom and exactly? So it's just like a backward mindset that
Respectability
oh, if you dress nice, like a show, it just goes back to all of the same things that we
But
discussed.
imagine all the young guys
But
that never dressed up that way.
But the stuff
and look at them now.
the stuff that we grew up on, the same respectability politics. I think like to the extent you get a point, right? The world is changing. I'm one of the people. I walk in the damn, like I said, Miami-Dade County shades on, hoodies on. I'm good, goddamn. You know, but at the same time, like it prepares you. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, I think you should dress up. You know, like we should do, like we should learn how to do it, but then it shouldn't be a strict thing. Like this is the way of the world, because truth be told, like you said, Google, IBM, Facebook, Uber, Lyft, they all have dropped policies on having to be professional and whatnot.
Okay. Does it make me
And
smarter
times are
than you
changing.
because
No,
I have
it
on a
doesn't.
suit and tie?
No.
Does it make me better than you? Do I have
No.
more money than you? It doesn't mean
I
anything.
think young guys should be exposed to suit and tie.
I think you should be
It should
exposed
be
to.
exposed, but it shouldn't be a part of your curriculum. Like you have to wear this.
Oh,
this
one
is
day
the
a week?
only way that you have to be.
But
I don't
football
know, when we
players,
was in school-
don't they dress on game days? too?
When
They
we
gotta
was in
put
school,
their
the
suit
Yeah,
on.
football
football,
players
we had to
dressed
do
like that. I
Mondays.
think that was a
Mondays
good
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
We had to do Mondays, or yeah, we had to do
That one
Mondays.
thing, I think that's a good thing.
I don't know. For me, I don't agree with it. Maybe because of, and like I said, it's my own personal opinion. Because my kid is raised differently.
Because the whole thing behind it used to be dress for success, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the implication is of okay, if I don't dress right, then I'm not going to ever be successful. I get that, but to some extent, like you talking to somebody who goes against the grain. I don't like. I go in like literally corporate board meetings and be like, just like this, and they get upset. So
I think it's important to accept. I'm not okay. So let me say this. I'm not against them dressing up, but I don't feel like it's one of those things where if you don't dress up, you're gonna miss out on this whole part of your thing. I think we should talk about it. I think we should do it, but it doesn't matter because if I'm failing and I wear my suit every day for 5 years, like what difference does it make? I'm still gonna be failing whether I got the suit and tie on or not. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a pacifying thing. It doesn't really mean.
Well, your son has a nice upbringing, and you're making sure of that. But a lot of guys have not coming from anywhere that you have your son coming up from. So they're coming from some savage lifestyle.
Yeah.
So they need to be like exposed.
But that's why I think.
And different cultures. too.
Professional
A lot of kids aren't exposed to different cultures.
But that's why I think that the charter schools are catered to us. Because when I go to these charter schools, even if it's in Davie, it's a lot of minorities at these charter schools.
Yeah.
They're not building
But
charter
that's
schools
because
in
they
the good
get vouchers
neighborhoods.
from public education too.
Uh-huh.
You know, that was one of the big things. Shout out to iCare Inner City Alumni for Responsible Education. They sat up there and they did Title I funding is one of the big things. In the Title I school, they get public funds, federal funding for Title I schools, Title I communities, right? And the money goes out from our schools because they're getting vouchers to go to these charter schools. So then those enrichment programs, or those programs like specifically for high school, now you're taking that money out, so now they don't have things like trade and logistics. They don't have wood shop and technical training that will probably help them in the future because everybody's not going to goddamn college.
That is not.
Like, you're talking to somebody that now about 15 schools, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't, so.
I'm still, every time you say that, I'll be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because,
Believe me.
self-taught, sorry.
You was probably wilding.
Fan, you too. I got
Yeah,
about.
I mean, no, I don't know why you be saying that. Like, fam, you don't deny folks. But you said you got denied by the thumb? Oh my
15,
gosh.
yeah, man. I mean,
They
you
deny people?
just count all the
The
Florida
Wildcats?
schools, every major Florida school, the HBCUs, couple schools outside.
But don't be wanting to
yeah.
make money. They should have accepted you. They
I mean,
accepted.
I don't know. You
What
know.
did we do with the money? I know y'all see.
Cause they shut down.
No, we not about to brag. We ain't going we not about to brag.
We are not going to marry my cloud for three.
I'm just asking because I seen some headlines.
I heard they got an extension or whatever they need to pay and they gonna get to it.
It's called accountability again. The same thing can happen to FAMU, but the difference is that FAMU alumni don't play that shit
We don't.
at all. And that's why y'all keep
And you can't
switching.
talk about females.
That's why y'all switch presidents or deans. I don't know what the proper term is for it, but y'all switch like every 2 years. It's because that alumni cutting up.
They ain't accepting nothing less.
That Kodak Black album, Halloween. Just know that. We're gonna skip on some entertainment because politics just totally took over the episode.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I can't believe we did here this long.
How long is it?
Okay, now.
Actually, it's my fault.
Real quick, I have some questions for you guys, and I'm gonna start out with, your question is probably long.
I ain't saying shit. I'm done.
So let's you never done. You always fighting for the folks, for the coach.
Nah, I don't want to say shit else,
For the
man.
culture.
Y'all got me feeling
All right.
bad.
What?
Sorry if I'm
I
out
got a
too
lot
much.
of questions for you.
It's
But
all right.
anyway,
Y'all gotta cut these shits up. I'm giving y'all extra
So-
content.
everybody's favorite. Look, yeah, you gotta pay for that. So everybody's favorite
I
is
can fix it myself, man.
he can. That's that. Everybody's favorite Instagram post to work. You got mail with you right now. You got mail in your purse.
No, that's illegal. We can't do that.
What's the blues song?
Man.
She said she ready for
Scared me,
fair.
boy. Anyway,
Cut
wait.
money.
What's the blues school? What's the blues school song? Email.
Mail time?
Oh man, not mail time though. It never felt to make me. You want to sing it so bad.
I don't know it. I was gonna Google it.
Here's the mail that never.
It makes you want to
But what's your tell when it comes?
I want to well.
Mail. Yeah, I hate. But anyway, I just had to take it back. So, all right. We see you're modeling on this realm. Is that what you're doing? How long have you been modeling? Is it modeling?
Yeah, I mean.
Or are you just showcasing how beautiful you are? Because that's cool too.
No, I mean, I've been modeling for a long time. I just took a 5-year break.
Okay.
Because of the
Long
tragic.
time.
No,
Oh, okay.
tragic. Shout out to October, because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So, just put that out there. That's it.
Dope.
Okay.
Along with breast cancer.
I don't agree
So
with
you
that.
overcame.
Yeah, I'm a survivor.
All right. No, that's a big deal. That's what's up. Is there anything else you want to say with that?
Now I'm gonna keep it short.
Okay,
Keep it
cool.
short from there.
All right, cool. You should. They actually had a walk or event
Yeah.
for domestic violence in my.
I didn't attend one this year, but when I attended one back in 2015 with a couple friends of mine.
And how was
Miami
that?
Beach. It was very good.
Did you feel like it was a good experience for you?
Yeah, it was good. It was very supportive. It hit the home, but to be around, to be amongst other survivors and speak your voice, and at the same time, a big thing on it is it happens a lot in our Black community, but no one wants to speak about it, and that's the difference.
It's funny, it's like if you speak on it, it's like, oh girl, that happened
Or
to
people
you.
to see what
But
happened,
you
and they
don't
wanna
speak
be
on
involved.
it, it's like they know they done been through something like that,
Yeah.
or may have not, but they know someone who has. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So it's good to speak up. That I like that point you made because it's very common,
Yeah.
like super, but it's not okay. So you ever joined any support groups, anything?
No, but
It's kind of calm.
it's
That'd be
coming
dope.
slowly. It's still like, you know,
Touch.
as my comfort, as my
Okay.
comfort level with it, but yeah, it's still coming out.
All right, now, what is you ever had a favorite photo shoot?
My favorite photo shoot?
I know it's a couple of, you got a favorite, y'all follow, you know? I know it's a couple of folks that'll tell us what their favorite.
I'm about to, when y'all talking, but, you know, I ain't trying to, but
No,
me and this, we got a good relationship, you know, we don't be tripping about that type of shit.
I'm
You
not
know?
gonna be biased, I can't say I have a favorite. Everyone I shoot with is, I say they're special, I'll put it that way.
Man,
That last one was special, but y'all go check that out. All right, is it challenging working, like, you know, the double life of being a full-time mail carrier, or just period, having a full-time job? And
Yeah, and being a
full-time
mom,
mommy?
yeah, it's hard, but I mean,
Do you get help?
yeah, I can help my parents,
Okay.
and my sister, they're a big part of that, and sometimes my friends, and, you know, it's like she said before, it takes a village to help and everything, so my mom's super supportive, because she knows I've been modeling for a long time, and it's something that I want to do, along with working, so.
Did you ever feel like do you like doing, do you like being a postal worker? Because did you ever feel like it was too many hours away from
Yeah,
your child?
just recently I just made career, and so that changed a big part of everything now, because I get more days off and more time to be more flexible as far as like bookings with modeling and just shooting with people, because before it was more so like, okay, how am I gonna do this? How can I travel here or do that? So things have changed.
So what are your goals? Like, do you see yourself acting, singing, or?
No singing, but maybe
A little rap?
Like no rap, no. But I want to act one day, like, but I want to take proper steps to get there, like actually, you know, take classes.
You acted before?
I mean, I was not really per se acting, but I was on Bar Rescue, a show, so people would kind of
That sounds
come up to
familiar.
me and
Hold on,
ask me about it.
hold on, I gotta Google this after. Bar Rescue.
I
Interesting.
mean, yeah, so people kind of.
What, it was like a dating show?
No, it's actually a show to renovate bars. Like it happens like everywhere. You renovate bars, but actually get on the staff about what's not perfect and what's not. And,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah, we gotta check that out. I didn't know like that. Okay, what kind of music do you listen to? I'm curious.
I like 90s R&B.
Yeah, look.
That's me all day.
I wish it was
Everybody, a lot of my followers will probably see that like more sexual 90s music, but that's just me. I feel like I was a love child. You know, my parents couldn't see me in February. Therefore, I'm a Scorpio. You know.
All that love. What kind of what all kind of music you listen to much?
I'm a jazzer, man. Jazz and trap, man.
Jazz and trap. Wow.
So-
Your world.
You just turned some women on somewhere.
I mean,
Jazz and trap, where
right-
is he?
Yeah, right now, one of my favorite jazz artists is Christian Scott.
I can't even talk with you.
So yeah, Christian Scott, and then you know I'm from the city, you know what I'm saying. So any local artist, I'm bound to support. I just really support the local artists. I don't really listen to a lot of the other stuff.
You real Miami to the core. What's some
Yeah.
local artists that
Like your
you are
boy
going
over here, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Kane, Monk,
One of your
yeah,
things.
you know what I'm saying? Anytime, I think I done hit him a few times, like, well, I like this one, you know what I'm saying? It's a new record, Mellow Suave. It's a Jerome Mello. But basically it's like a Spanish hip hop song, but it's dope to me because it's like he's not really, I think he's like Afro Latino or something like that. So it's kind of fun to like hear him say like something in Spanish, then be like, we don't play that shit, like it's an extra song. I love that shit. Like he said, no jugamos, no something, and then it was like we don't play. And really in English, it's like we don't play that shit. So I was like, oh yeah, I like this. You know? So I like different stuff. I'm a musician. I grew up with music, so I like jazz and stuff like that. So
You play any instruments?
yeah, you know this.
Anyway,
So when I was playing, when I was at home, I was playing trumpet and a couple other instruments, but yeah, producing. I was with the club, for
I ain't gonna say a
fun
couple
time.
instruments. You ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, I mainly brass. I didn't really, I didn't really venture out too much. I played guitar a little bit, but I just gave it up.
Didn't you play the triangle?
Nah, I ain't playing the triangle.
You did play the triangle. Ooh, he tried to be naughty. Ooh. You was there playing person. When the whole thing finished, he said, ding, ding. It was playing without that ding, bro.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It gotta be like Shaggy. It wasn't me.
Alright. He wanted to be
I'm
naughty.
trying to keep it short. You know what I mean? Y'all and shit.
The triangle, man.
Okay.
I don't know about no triangle.
Alright, he
never
played
did
the
that.
triangle.
I played triangle.
But he's a musician who also knows how to play the triangle. Alright, anyway. Alright, so back to you over here, IG superstar. Community superstar, IG superstar. Back over here, IG. So who do you is there anybody you plan to work with as far as like photography or videography? Look, they saying wrap it up.
Basically, I think I'm coming to work with everybody because I worked with some people in the past who were coming up and now they're big, so it's just more like a reunion to get back, but they're more in different cities and everything. So I think I'm just the person they want to work with, and I want to work with them, and I think it's gonna happen regardless.
Who is your MCM? Tomorrow's Monday. Man Crush Monday.
Well,
I see.
Male Crush Monday? I don't really have a Crush Monday.
You don't have a crush on anyone? You don't like anyone?
I mean, I'm single, so.
You're single. Okay. Nobody cuffed that.
You have to want to be cuffed in a way to get cuffed.
Oh, so we not done right now with it.
I don't think I'm there, but I don't see what's there yet.
If you
I'll
thought
say that
you
way.
were about to be her boo, you're not. She's not there. So you just got friend zone. Okay. It's Wednesday. WCW. It's Wednesday.
Look,
What's the who that woman crush?
I mean, my girl, man, KC, man,
KC.
she held me down.
Shout out to you. Now you're
We've
R&B.
been together for a minute, so yeah, she holds it down.
Okay, I'm gonna get y'all on this question too another day. I'm just getting them in. Yeah, just know that. Yeah, we ain't got the time today. Yeah, but I'm gonna get y'all. Yeah, all right. Lunch. Okay, you've done a lot in the community. You spoke about a lot that's going on in the community. What's some things that you want to immediately transpire, like to change?
Right now I'm focusing on access. That's the main thing, is like how do I get all this information I do know out of my head and make sure other people are empowered to know the same thing. So that's like one of the main things for me, and through tech or through whatever, it's like
Through Trapping Ain't Dead.
yeah, through Trapping Ain't Dead, I've been modest all day, but that's one of the things, what I mean? Like Trapping Ain't Dead podcast, with Janae Tate, Hollow News, trying to build, just a media empire somewhat, to kind of like get the information that's needed out,
I appreciate you trying to be modest. You didn't want to take that much shine from
No,
the Culture Podcast.
because my thing is always to support other people, you know what I mean, and what they're doing. So maybe you call and I said, whatever, So.
Nah, but y'all definitely check out Trapping Ain't Dead podcast, because it's definitely on the type of things we want to be on as well. It aligns, and we should support each other anyway.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's just
We ain't in no competition.
Exactly.
There's room for everybody.
Exactly. All right. So, all right. You trying to get these this knowledge out to people so that they're aware and telling them what should be going on.
And get more actively involved, because I think like more citizen participation is key to holding a lot of these people accountable. And more people know, certain things like, 119 is a state road, 27th Avenue is a state road. You know what I mean? So knowing different things and knowing who to call.
119th is a state road?
Yeah. So like, during Hurricane Irma, I was doing a lot of work and helping the community, but I was in these politicians shit because I was like, no, this is your area, you're responsible for it. You get me? So it's part like me
knowing who's responsible for what areas.
And then calling like, look, you gotta do something.
That is important.
So that was the main thing, so yeah.
Wow. That's something else we need to have somewhere, a website that just states who's over each area.
And that's what All Like Minds is working towards. We're working towards like an app that will do just that. Anything, everything to access community, or assets towards community is what we, all about. So,
if you was granted the assets to do something in the community tomorrow, like unlimited money, funds, tools, and persons, what would you do?
first thing I want to do, I've
you
always,
You
I was
ready.
ready.
You was like, I had all this stuff. You couldn't tell me that wasn't the big one.
The first thing I wanted to do is bring back Peace in the Hood Fest, man. Uncle Wild, man. It's one of the things.
I was go there when I was young.
I would love to have people like her, YD, a lot of local artists come together and really do it on 15th, bring it back on 15th. The next thing is, like All Like Minds, man, have these information centers, these community information resource centers, where in each district, where we pretty much, have, as an information resource center for, county is inefficient at getting the word out. So we, bring that bridge, to make sure the information gets out. Also, a place where people can access internet, because internet is a big thing nowadays. And that's some of the main things.
Is the place y'all opening up, would that be a place like
that? Yeah,
so
Roots Black House that we opening up on 54th, was actually, technically it's 55th, but right next to the Burger King on 54th and 7th. The Roots Black House is a place where, the main three things, it's a print shop, but it's also a place for youth mentorship and, yeah, man, we, just community, man. We're doing a lot of different things. Shout out to my boy Danny and Zabo, Roots Collective. So.
I think, for the most part, we can all have these ideas, but we need to come together more.
Yeah, most definitely.
So that they can really be brought across.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes it's like this person over here, I have one idea, and this person over here has the same idea, but just a little addition to it.
Exactly.
And just so fearful of coming together, or this person might try to change the vision. That's why we just have to be open to getting on the same page, because a lot of times our visions align. And together we'll go further versus trying to go along, pulling in different directions.
That we all can't work together in some type of way, or there ain't no money on the table for everybody. But truth be told, there's always something for everybody. And then, to each his own, like, it's different demographics. You're in marketing, you target this person, and you may have this other group that may support you. You know what I'm saying? So there's room for everybody. And that's the thing. Like I'm one of the people, that I try to support everybody that I can. And uplift. My job is I don't see myself as so much of an activist. I see myself more as an advocate. I think it's to uplift other people. You know what I mean? More than uplift myself. It's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people be like, "What's All Like Minds? What's going on with it?" But it's like, I'm gonna uplift Mike so goes down the scream. I'm gonna uplift what Blaze is doing with, Save Our Kings. I'm gonna uplift, any city, in Richmond Youth Camp, you know what I mean? With Fro. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are different people in the city that's doing different things. With Quaid, with Bikes That Guns Down as well. His podcast, The Process, like, it helped me a lot. So, everybody got something that they're doing on High-Low News. Me and Janae Tate, so, Janae Tate, that's her blog, you know what I mean? It's a hyper-local blog, so it's different things. It's room for everybody.
Okay. So I got one last question for you all. Actually, two. One question I have is, do you think social media is good or bad? And that's anybody can take the reins on that.
It has its pros and its cons, because okay, being that I guess being, hold quote IG model.
Yeah.
You know, that's the term in 2018.
People have their, opinions a part of, like what's the message you're saying, or you have a big influence and you use that to, push more positive things or, from there. But at the same time, social media has changed so much because when I was modeling before, you didn't have to do all of that. You would come in and if you had to audition for something, they'll go off of who you are and what you're doing as far as that. Now, it's based upon the followers you got. But how can you do that now when your people are buying followers now? Or people are messing with this person just because they know somebody, but they do not have that talent.
Yeah.
Even with artists, like anything.
I would say this, OG came and told me, he says the difference between nature, consciousness, and society. Nature is who you are as a person. Consciousness is what you think about yourself and what's in your head, and society is what other people think of you. So, if you have those three things always in check and aligned, you'd be okay. But, a lot of times, even myself, we get caught up in, what we see. And, it's not always, what it really is. A lot of niggas be struggling, you know what I mean? And they probably in the same situation you in. But because it look good over there, and you're not perpetrating over here, you kind of get yourself down sometimes. But realistically, man, just stay on your own grind,
That's facts.
Comparing and competing, that you losing to your demons. You so sleepy, you can't even see them,
What?
That's my dog Bird.
Well,
No, that's my dog Bird, man.
that's good and
It was
bad,
real
but
good.
I will say I would prefer a world without social media.
So my views are different because I come from the media world,
Exactly.
and I know whatever I say will determine what you wear, what you think about yourself. So I've always loved media since a child. When I was at Crestview, I was on the broadcasting thing, so this comes from like
It's natural.
years. Like this is me all day, like born to do this. And I was in the Air Force, so I was in the military as well. And I remember my job was a command post controller. So if you ever seen the movie Shooter and you hear them on a thing talking to command posts, that was me. They were talking to at 17 years old. So I remember when things would happen over there, they would like shut everything down. So if something happens crazy overseas, they shut everything down so the people that are there cannot get messages out.
Nope.
So social media to me is different from everyone else because I'm like, yes, because you know what? When something happens in little Minnesota and the news says, everything is fine today, our weather is 73, and then my friend on social media and I go to the hashtag and I see bombings and I see all these things, that's why to me, social media, because the way I use it, I don't use it to get popular, I use it for information. And
It makes the world smaller.
Yes, and I like getting that first-hand account information.
Especially Twitter.
Yes, first-hand account. Like, I don't want this watered-down thing you're gonna get on the news and give me your politically correct statement and push your agenda. I want the people in Ferguson like, look, they working us, and I appreciate that. It's different for me. It's different for me. I really appreciate that.
You too.
Okay. All right. We didn't get to talk about spice and colorism. And I want to, but everybody looking at me like, shut up. So I'm going to do so. But good thing is that Spice didn't bleach her skin for real, but she just wanted to make a point. She wanted to cause all the controversy so that it will bring light to the situation or to the concept of colorism. The fact that even within the black community, black people will degrade each other or bash each other for color, the darker, and this is in all races too, I found, like, the darker, the worse you may be treated, and that just sucks. If any group of people are to be like that, we can't be like that, like, because we experience that oppression from others, like, as a whole group. Like, no one cared that you was lighter than him or her, like, you still an N-word. So we need to, just like something as simple as like, you at the house and you go over your cousin's house and you say, and there's a bunch of kids over there, and you say, yeah, the black one over there. They're all black though. Like, you kind of got to watch how you kind of talk. You need to be sensitive, especially to young, dark-skinned girls.
They're beautiful.
Yes, they are beautiful. Their skin tone is beautiful. But for any, it's dark-skinned boys too. But it's like, For a dark-skinned little girl, it's a
Little old
whole,
still.
Yeah, I feel like that.
It's a whole-
The rocket story.
Huh?
I see like when people say like her black A or black.
Bring
I
your
feel like
black
it's
ass
a rocket
in, man.
story.
but
Poor
not
girl,
even that,
poor girl.
not even that, just imagine like, you
I-
being in a picture with a bunch of girls and you the darkest, like,
Yeah.
you know
yeah.
that junk get different.
Yeah, it
Like-
do, but at the same time, what I do, the issue with Kodak bothered me, a little bit.
No,
and-
Dick,
and-
go
and-
ahead.
and the reason
What
it
issue
did-
with Kodak?
The issue with Kodak, saying I don't like black girls because I'm black, and I'm like, bro, that just
But
means you don't
a
like
lot of-
yourself.
A lot of boys think that, like,
Yeah,
I've heard
but I
somebody
think
say
that's-
because where they came from, saying grow, like, example, like the group of the project, they don't want to date the black girls
Uh-huh.
because of whatever they've been up, so when they come up,
Exactly, and I think it just goes back to representation, and just better representation in the media, start to
yeah.
alleviate that.
And
Forget
people love
media.
themselves.
No, media too, and it's getting better, but better representation firsthand in the house. Cause I seen a black man say, black kids, young black boys should see, I don't even know if they said young black boys, but definitely black kids should see black love, straight up.
Yeah.
You, as soon as you
Yeah.
look up, you should see two black parents. That should be default. Now, I'm not saying you can't love who you want to love if that's what ended up happening, but default, black love, straight up.
I'm sorry, my mama told me straight up, man, don't bring nobody lighter than you in this house. So that's just always been my like. I mean, don't, it's not to say like I ain't dated lighter skinned chicks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
cause you was after you.
I had a few. I ain't had no white girls though.
But see, I'm saying a little
She might have been Hispanic, but she wasn't white,
I
and
just
she had to get down with the get down. You know?
think of this, I
She
don't know,
didn't
like,
understand.
okay, like you say like you got a son, and think of like we all think about when we probably was like in kindergarten. So think about your first crush day. You'll normally see to where the little boys might see a little light skinned girl. She look different than what they looking at. They gonna like Samantha or what's her name, Ashley, rather than the Brittany.
I was one of them presentation people, man. If you presented yourself in a nice way and I can recognize that you was beautiful, then it's different. But if you got like hair all crazy, I mean, I know I'm contradicting myself, but like you're like ponytail like crazy, like I'm sorry, dog. Like it wasn't even, and I know me, I got a type. I ain't even sit up here and act like I don't. Like I know if you had natural hair and you didn't have a weave and you was black, I was with you.
What's funny is there's a lot of dark skinned. I don't know about dark skinned guys, but I know there's a lot of dark skinned women who actually don't have the experience of colorism. They have no clue what you're talking about. Girl, you know. Cause see, even me, like I never had an issue that became a big issue. But I saw stuff that was different.
Yeah.
Things were said around me different or said to me, or I saw, not really more so me, but I saw it done to other people that were darker than me or the same skin tone. At the end of the day, we just gotta do better. Like, why are we still seeing darker as
Or
ugly?
okay, I got a question. What about this comment?
Fox, though, I like them
'Cause
dark. I just had the light one, you know?
What about when people say, oh, you too black to wear this type of hair, or this lipstick, or that? How does?
Hey,
what
it
would you
is
say,
what
like,
it is, though.
I'm sorry. Babs fucked up the game.
Yeah, like.
The movie
It is
Babs
what it
fucked up the game for me. I'm sorry. I can't do like if you dark with like the highlighter ass neon ass lipstick.
That's cool.
And I'm like, nah, bro. It's just like everybody got to each his own. You know what I'm saying? I
First of
can't
all,
rock with that.
some dark-skinned women can bust out with blonde.
That's
They
not
can
saying,
kill it, but commonly, no.
I seen a dark skinned chick with the
But you
blonde,
know,
like
there's
low cut. I was like,
Like, I can't
with
do
blonde
blonde.
hair. There's like the little group of I think they're African with
yeah, I
blonde hair,
can't
blue
believe
eyes.
I'm joking.
It's the way you say things. No one should be saying, you too black, or you can say, well, this doesn't compliment your skin tone. Straight up and down, and that's it. If somebody told me that, like in the makeup chair or something, I'd be like, dang, okay, so what? You know, like, I'm on to the next thing, because I'm not insecure about my skin tone. I love it. But at the same time, we as a people need to love all our skin tones.
And love
I'm
ourselves.
gonna be honest. I had to learn to like my skin tone. It wasn't a conversation we had growing up. I'm from Trinidad originally, so I came here when I was 5.
Mhm.
So I started school when I was 5. I had an accent and I was real smart. So they did me in. And they did me, and I was dark skinned. All the little girls had perms. My mom wasn't with it. So I had the natural hair. You know that little halo crown thing they wear now? I was wearing that elementary school.
Natural
So
hair,
that
I don't know about natural hair.
And it really,
I was with it. I just, I ain't like the weave. I was a rare person.
You was with it if it looked a certain kind of way, black men.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If it looked a certain kind of way, black men, you're with it.
But
No, I was with the natural. I ain't gonna flex. I ain't never been like, I never liked the whole weave thing. Like, cause like I said, I grew up at the African Heritage Cultural Arts Center. Like, black,
it was
you know
different for me.
what I'm saying?
And then where I come from, there's like a lot of like mixed race people. So they would call me like different names because of how my hair was and things like that. So it's definitely something that you do have to like instill. When I was growing up, it wasn't a conversation in my house because your parents would tell you you're beautiful and they love you. But it's like that's their parents, they're supposed to. But I did not get that acceptance from society though. Not until I got older. And then when I got older, the conversation was, you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. And that was the conversation. Or they'll tell me I'm mixed because of my hair texture. Oh, well you mixed. Like you pretty, you mixed, you dark-skinned, but you know what I mean? So definitely it was something that I did have to learn, and I come from an entertainment background. So I've worked with like all of these artists, and I've been to places where they didn't allow. Oh, they didn't allow. I can't come to VIP. They had to. Light-skinned girls only. I'm working though.
Sound like South Beach or something.
And it's definitely, it was club play. It was play at the time.
Yeah.
They wasn't even playing. They said, I was like, oh, I'm working. I'm with the artist. They're like, ma'am,
baby.
no.
I'm sorry.
They used to do a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah, they
You
weren't
just
playing.
reminded me of a time where South Beach, and I think it's play.
It probably was playing.
Line
They was
us
not playing.
up. Now, I'm smart. I pick up on patterns. I'm like, how are they lining us up? This could be fine to not so fine, depending on the subject. I mean, how they, I was third. I could have been first. I was third out of 5. But anyway, hold on. But no, I'm like, okay, it could be going by fine to them and not so fine. But then I was like, hold on. There's a color scheme here.
Yeah.
Like, gee, like I'm like the third to lightest. You know what I'm saying? And third to darkest. And it's like, dang, they doing that here? But I was just like, that's whack. I'm not coming here anymore. But I think that's South Beach culture, by the way. We need to talk about we're gonna have some promoters.
When I was about 10 years old, Jasmine Guy came through to the Cultural Arts Center, and she did a presentation. Jasmine Guy was on Different World.
Oh, Whitley.
Right?
Okay.
So she was light skinned, and it was intriguing to me being a 10 or 11-year-old kid. I want to say I was younger than that. May have been like 8 or 9, but she had a conversation about, how they really intentionally made her lighter skinned. And it's almost like the Beyonce effect, how they make Beyonce lighter than what she is. So I understood early that was an issue, and I think that's why I said I thank the center for like bringing that out and making me cognizant of it, because I looked at the world different. You know what I mean? And I view beauty different than other people would, because literally taking somebody, like you said, from the entertainment industry saying like, look, they intentionally try to like make me lighter. And she was showing us videos of how like the original cut was compared to what she had to demand what they were gonna do. And they were literally lighting her face up like.
But back then they was doing that so that she could appeal across the masses.
Yeah, and that was the thing about appealing to the masses. So like that's why I say now, I was Ava DuVernay and all these different people who are pushing representation in the media. I think it's so important. I think like Obama was on, like, I know he played a big part in that too. Pushing that representation, because it matters. It matters to see a black girl on the screen. It matters to see these different people. I see it, growing up. I look with my goals of success. The first millionaire I seen was black, that I could actually reach out, shake his hand. He was out of Lincoln Field. You feel me? First millionaire, he wasn't no dope boy.
You had to say that part.
Yeah, I had to say that. Yeah. So he's actually a financial advisor who lives very frugal and still stays in Lincoln Field. You know what I mean? So that's just one of the things. Like I was fortunate enough to see, or like being at the Cultural Arts Center, Marshall Davis. You know what I mean? Black man. You know what I mean? Dressed up every day, carry yourself. You know, got respect, got power. Outside of growing up and seeing, of course, Bo. You know, little Bo and all. You know what I'm saying? In them, but John Doe and whatnot. But it's just like representation is important. That's the main thing.
What's speaking of the African Cultural Center?
Yeah.
What are some events? What are some events that we can catch there?
Right now we're just in the phase of like the center's under renovation, so we don't have a lot of stuff going on. We got the Art Blues and Barbecue Fest coming up. That's December the 1st.
December.
Yeah, December the 1st. It's a free outdoor event. Ike Val, which is the local blues band, they'll be there. We got some other folk that's gonna be there. It's basically like a free concert on the line of our facility. So yeah, it's free. Come out.
All right, so Munch, go ahead and tell them your social medias where they can find you. You know, in the meantime, till you come back on the show.
I was about to say, like, come on, man, people gonna hate me. Munch, Machiavelli Munch, so it's MAKAVELLI and _MUNCH.
That's a lot of spelling, but Machiavelli Munch.
Just Machiavelli, like Pac, spell it, and _Munch.
Machiavelli _Munch, and check out Trapping Ain't Dead podcast.
Yeah, Trapping Ain't Dead podcast.
All right.
You can follow me, Chantel, on Instagram, 5 HANT3L.
All right. And you can yeah. That's so ready to go. Marge, you didn't even say nothing the whole time.
I have to.
You didn't have to. Anyway, that Negro was asleep. Anyway, so we're gonna close it out because we pretty much falling asleep over here. But we'll be back next week, talk about some more amendments, and you guys need to make sure you vote. This is serious. Look at
Early voting.
Yes, look how long we've been talking.
You can do it.
It's that important. Any last messages,
If you
Norris?
listen to the first episode of Trapping Ain't Dead, you'll find Desmond B. He'll talk about Amendment 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Find some more on Amendment 4 from Trapping Ain't Dead, episode 1. All right, and we out. For the culture. Hit us next week.
Be safe.
For the culture. Follow us. Subscribe. All that. Look. Anyway,
Ma'am.
It's
I'm gonna get to it.
I'm sorry, man. Y'all told me to come to the show.